There we go.
Welcome.
Now it's being recorded. My bad. Here we go. Okay. So garnishes. Garnishes complement the soup. Okay. So whenever you do soup like vichyssoise tomorrow, what is the garnish for the vichyssoise? Is chives, right? Because I think about it, baked potato, sour cream, cheddar cheese, maybe some broccoli, bacon bits, and green onions. So chives are more mellow than green onions, and it complements the vichyssoise. Those are number power the dish. Okay. Um, French onion soup. Okay. The garnish is Swiss and Gruyere cheese to make your French onion, and then you gratin on top. So the garnish has to complement the dish. Okay. Like I said, don't go off the wall. Oh, it needs red, and throw some nice peppers or some cayenne pepper, chili powder. That's not how it works. Okay. Croutons can be some garnish. Grated cheese, slice of frankfurters, bits of bacon, heavy whipped cream, like a dollop, like a little quenelle. Parsley, chives, or watercress can be a garnish too. Okay. So it has to complement the dish, not to take away from it. Okay. Clear
Are
soup. Go ahead.
Are we gonna need like a blender or an emulsifier thingy to make the like consistency of the soup?
The vichyssoise, yes.
Okay.
In a bit of blender, a food mill, or a immersion in blender to make it nice and thin. Okay.
Okay.
So clear soups. You start with first browning your meat and then your mirepoix. Again, you're not caramelizing, so don't worry about just doing the carrots and onions. You can add all three at the same time. Okay. What else? Once that they're nice and sauteed and translucent, you add the stock to bring it to a boiling point and simmer it and cover it. Okay. Then you add the bouquet garni or sachet de piece if desired. Okay. If you want to add it, if not, that's okay. Bring the liquid slow to a boil, reduce to simmering to cook, skimming occasionally to remove the impurities from the top, okay, until the main ingredient is tender and the flavor is fully developed. Remember last week with the tomato sauce, we talked about that foam sitting on top, right? If you taste it back then, you're going to taste everything separate, but once that foam goes away, you taste it again, the flavors are going to be fused. So that's a good indicator to take a look at the soup once that foam starts adhering to the top, okay? Carefully drain the broth, okay? Carefully strain the broth or a china cap along with a damp cheesecloth, okay? And then do not disturb the ingredients. Okay, so when you're making the stock, okay, carefully move the top. Let me go back. Where was I? Okay. So bring the liquid to slowly boil, reduce simmer to cook, skimming occasionally. Carefully strain the broth through a china cap. Do not disturb the flavorings as little as possible. Cool and store the following procedures of cooling stocks. So when you cool your soups, make sure you ice it down. Okay, remember that from first week or start safe. Okay, broth-based soups. Okay, again, broth-based soups transforming into a broth-based soup. For example, it's quite simple. Although broth may be served with a vegetable or meat, garnish a broth-based soup is a soup filled with vegetables or meats that is cooked directly in the broth, adding flavor, body, and texture to the finished product. Remember, veggies can be used to make a vegetable soup. It could also be a single vegetable as an onion in a soup, or a dozen different vegetables or hearty minestrone. Minestrone has a lot of vegetables in it. It's really hearty. Also has elbow mac. Okay. Your procedure for preparing broth-based vegetable soups again. Sweat long cooking vegetables in butter or fat. Add the appropriate stock or broth and bring to a simmer. Add seasonings such as bay leaves, dry thyme, crushed peppercorns, parsley stems, and garlic in a sachet, allowing enough time for the seasonings to fully flavor the soup. Add additional ingredients according to the cooking times. Simmer the soup to blend the flavors. If the soup is not going to be served immediately, cool it and refrigerate it. Just before service, add any garnishes that were prepared separately and do not require cooking. Variations. A wide variety of vegetables can be added or substituted. Consomme. To make a consomme, it takes about 2 or 3 days. It's a long, arduous process, labor intense. A lot of people don't make it because it costs money. Okay? A consomme is a stock or broth that has been clarified to remove the impurities. That is crystal clear. Traditionally, all clear broths were referred to as consommes. A clear broth is further refined using the process described later, was referred to as double consomme. Term double consomme is still occasionally described, but any strongly flavored consommes. It is about the raft forming on top, which we kind of talked briefly on that last week. Okay. Procedures for consomme. Again, labor intense. It's passion, it's labor of love to make consommes. In a suitable stock pot with one spigot if you have it, if not, don't worry about it. Combine the ground meat, your mirepoix, and lighten beaten egg white. Add the cold stock or raw stock and don't stir. Okay. So you have your stock pot, your meat with your egg whites and mirepoix, and then you add the stock and you bring it to a simmering point slowly until it goes up. Okay. and you poke a hole in the middle for the bubbles to come out, and you skim the top. Once it's done, gently remove the raft, not to disturb the broth, okay? And slowly strain it through a china cap with a coffee filter or cheesecloth, slowly, little at a time. What comes out of it is a clear crystal broth, okay? Depending on the consomme, if it's beef, it's going to be looking amber color, okay? What else? And you can dab it with a paper towel to remove any excess grease that is sitting on the top, okay? Thick soups, okay? Two kinds of thick soups, cream soups and puree soups, like we just went over, okay? Most cream soups are made by simmering the flavoring ingredient, for example, broccoli for cream or broccoli soups, in the white stock or thin velouté sauce to which seasonings may be added. The mixture is then pureed and strained. After the consistency has been adjusted, the soup is finished by adding cream. In classic cuisine, thin bechamel sauce is often used as a base for cream soups. Can be substituted for velouté in many cream soups. Recipes, if desired, properly made cream soups should have a silken texture and thickness of the heavy cream. The flavor of the soup main ingredient should be pronounced. Both hard vegetables, for example, celery and squash, and soft leafy vegetables, for example, spinach, corn, broccoli, and or asparagus, are used for cream soups. Hard vegetables are generally sweated in butter without browning before the liquid is added. Soft leafy veggies are generally added to the soup after the liquid is brought to a boil. Because the cream soups are pureed, it is important to cook the flavor ingredients until they are soft and can be passed through a food mill easily. All cream soups are finished with milk or cream. I like to use my soups heavy cream. I don't like to use milk. Milk thins them out. Heavy cream gives them more body flavor, more heavier. It has more fat on the heavy cream, so it coats the back of your palate and your tongue, so the flavor lasts a little bit longer. It makes it more velvety, more smooth. Milk is watery. Okay. Anyways, using the same amount of cream adds much more richness to the same thinning effect. Cold milk and cream curdles easily if added directly to a hot or acidic soup. To prevent curdling, so don't add the milk right off the acidic, because otherwise it'll curdle it up. You don't want to make cottage cheese, okay? So procedures for making cream soups. In a soup pot, sweat the vegetables such as squash, onions, celery, carrots in oil or butter without browning. Add the flour, cook to make the blonde roux with the vegetables mixed in it. Add the liquid, which is a stock. Add any additional veggies. Bring the stock to simmering and add a blonde roux to prepare. It was prepared separately to thicken that soup. Okay. Bring to a boil and reduce to simmer. Add any soft veggies. Simmer to soup, skimming occasionally until the veggies are very tender. Puree the soup by passing through a food mill, blender, food processor, or vertical cutter mixer. Strain through a china cap if desired. If the soup is still too thick, adjust the consistency by adding hot white stock. Finish the soup by adding hot milk. I like to use heavy cream on mine. Bring the cream to simmering before adding to the soup. You can add it cold. It doesn't have to be hot. Okay. Do not boil the soup until after the milk or cream has been added. So bring it to a simmering point after the cream has been added. You may use a bechamel or cream sauce instead of a heavy cream or milk to finish your cream. So you can use your bechamel to thicken the soup instead of a heavy cream. Okay. Puree soups are hearty soups made by cooking starchy vegetables or legumes in a stock or broth, then pureeing all of them or a portion of them to thicken the soup, like lentils. Puree soups are similar to cream soups in that they both consist of a main ingredient that is first cooked in the liquid, then pureed. Primary difference is that unlike cream soups, which are thickened with starch, puree soups generally do not use additional starch for thickening. They don't have, you can't put roux in it, like split pea soup or lentil soup. You saute your mirepoix, add your lentils, saute them, add your stock, bring it to a simmering point, and then puree them. And the starchiness of those legumes is what's going to thicken your soup. Okay. Can be made with dried or fresh beans such as pea, lentils, navy beans, or a number of veggies, including cauliflower, celery root, turnips, and potatoes. Diced potatoes and rice is something used to thicken the vegetable puree soup. The rice is a classical way of pureeing those, thickening the soups. A lot of people don't use rice that often now. Okay. Other soups, you got bisque. I just gave you an example of a bisque, lobster and shrimp bisque. usually from shellfish. Okay, they use rice as a thickening agent. Okay, much of the best flavor comes from the crustacean shells, which are simmered in the cooking liquid. Okay, some people puree the shells, but I try not to because you have those shells that are turned into a fine dust, and even you strain it, they might be bite into it. Okay, and again, you caramelize your mirepoix. Add tomato paste to the glaze with red wine or white wine. Add the cooking liquid, incorporate the roux, simmer, strain, and then strain the soup to a fine chinois. You got a nice bisque. Bisque is supposed to be nice and thin, nice and thick. I mean, nice thick, nice and no chunks, very velvety, very smooth. Okay, medium thick. You also got chowders. We just talked about New England clam chowder and Manhattan clam chowder. Anything that can be done, even with corn chowder, instead of clams and clam juice or fish stock, use corn and vegetable stock to make corn chowder or chicken stock, because you're going to have to use the bacon. Okay, same procedures. Render finely diced salt pork over medium heat. Sweat the mirepoix in the rendered pork. Add the flour, just like if you would make sausage gravy in the morning for breakfast. Add the liquid. Add the seasonings and flavor ingredients according to the cooking times. Simmer, skim as needed. Add milk or cream. I like to use cream. I like Julie Childs. She's my mentor, so I go with cream. I don't go with milk. Okay. I go with the real deal. Garnishing soups. Again, the garnish has to make sense with the flavor. Garnishes and toppings can range from a simple sprinkle of chopped parsley on a bowl of cream soup or to a tiny profiterole stuffed with foie gras, adorning a crystal clear bowl of consomme. Some soups are so full of attractive, flavor and colorful foods that are integral parts of the soup, so that no additional garnishes are necessary. In others, the garnish determines the type of soup. For example, the beef broth garnished with a cooked barley, and beef becomes the barley soup. Foie gras. You guys ever heard of it? Had it? Worked with it? Ate it? Tasted it? Anybody?
No.
You guys know what it is?
Mm-mm.
F-Y,
I've heard the name.
Okay. F-Y-E. Okay. It is pate. Pate is made out of foie gras. Okay. So foie gras, it's a big controversy here in the States because PETA. You know what PETA stands for?
Can you say that one more time?
PETA. P-E-T-A.
What was the question?
There's a big controversy with foie gras in the United States because of PETA. Do you guys know what PETA stands for?
Oh, it's like the Animal Rights Association or something. I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's like an organization trying to protect like animals and stuff.
Correct. For us carnivores, PETA stands for People Eating Tasty Animals. Get it?
Isn't the actual acronym something like People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals?
That is the correct acronym.
Okay.
But me, I like animals, so I call it People Eating Tasty Animals. The opposite.
The funny thing, PETA has a higher murder rate of animals than actual animal shelters, which is the funny thing.
I know.
Could you repeat that again, Austin, one more time?
People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals? I'm going to look that up real quick. Did I?
Yep. So foie gras, it is the fattened liver of geese and ducks. Ancient times, the Egyptians went out to hunt the geese before the winter settled in. They found out that hunting the geese at that time, their livers were naturally fattened, delicious and tasty. Geese and ducks are opportunist eaters that to gorge themselves, making themselves fat or fatter. United States, Hudson Valley foie gras in New York. The controversy here is the gavage, the force feeding the ducks. Gavage is when they shove a metal pipe down their throat and force feed them. Okay.
When I was growing up, Chef, with my mom, my mom and I used to get a goose and ducks before Christmas, a month before, and we used to force feed them every day. And my mom used to supply the hotels and restaurants with the geese and the ducks.
Yep.
And we used to make the pellets. We used to have pellets that we used to shove down their throat. Never understood it before, but I sure do when I got into being cooking.
It is yeah, that's true. That's the gavage part. If you have a bird or any fowl that is sick, you're going to take it to the vet. And if it's not eating, guess what the vet's going to do? Is going to shove a tube down his throat to force feed it. They can tolerate that tube in the throat. And it's a long metal tube. Us humans, we can't even put our finger down our throat, right? Because we start throwing up. We gag ourselves. Ducks and geese have that tolerance, okay, of being force fed, okay? So it is the gavage practice of force feeding geese and ducks to enlarge their livers for human consumption. That is a big controversy, and it was banned in California a while ago, okay? It is delicious. If you like liver, you'll like foie gras. Once I overdosed on foie gras, it made me feel funky, but I still love it and I still eat it. Delicious, okay? And it's expensive. It's about $45 a pound, 45 a pound, okay? So foie gras is one of those delicacies, okay? So potatoes, let's talk about potatoes because you're gonna be cooking potatoes on Tuesday, okay? Very well-known starches. Some of these food are vegetables, other are grasses, some grains, okay? Some of the foods are vegetables, some of the grasses. Pastas, of course, are prepared products made from grains. Starches are, for the most part, stable foods. Foods that define cuisine and give it a substance. All are high in starch carbohydrates, low in fat, and commonly used as part of a well-balanced meal. They're on your book on chapter 12. Potatoes, French, pommes de terre. So when you see that term, pommes de terre, potatoes from the earth, okay, are only a few vegetables native to the New World, probably originating in South American Andes. Botanically, potatoes are succulent, nobody annual plants. The portion consumed is the tuber, the swollen, fleshy part of the underground stem. Potatoes are hardy and easy to grow, making them inexpensive and widely available. Americans eat nearly 43 pounds of fresh potatoes and 55 pounds of frozen potatoes annually. So we consume about almost 100 pounds a year in potatoes, okay? P. Terry's, Mickey D's, Whataburgers, Wendy's, right? Thanksgiving, mashed potatoes, right? Making potatoes one of the top 5 veggies crops in the United States, okay? We eat a lot of potatoes. There was a video of this woman, she would only eat potatoes. That was her diet, crazy. So in Peru, there are about 400 kinds of potatoes. Here in the States, we have the Kennebec, Northland Red, Russet, which is equally about the same as the Idaho or the Burbank. They're all the same. Red Thumb, Japanese sweet potato, Larette, Purple Majesty, Russian banana, Rose fin apple, Hannah sweet apple, Julienne, Yukon Gold. It is smaller, more starchy, sweeter, creamier. All Blue, Arista Crescent, Red Gold, French Fingerling, okay? Atlantic, Kijidori, Australian, Eastern Crescent. So different potatoes. If you find that your recipe on the portal says russet, you can't find russet, you see Idaho, just grab it. It's the same thing, okay? So identifying potatoes. Choose potatoes that are heavy and very firm with clean skin and a few eyes. Avoid those with many eyes, sprouts, and green streaks, soft spots, cracks, or cut edges. When ordering, the size A is larger than size B, which must be between 1.5 inch to 2.5 inches diameter. Size B is what we call the Redskins, B potatoes or new potatoes. Okay? New potatoes are small, immature potatoes of any variety. They're harvested before their starch develops. Although red potatoes can be new, not all new potatoes are necessarily red skin. Conversely, not all red skin potatoes are new. Okay? The new potatoes are waxy with a high moisture content and a thin, delicate skin. Fingerling potatoes are typically heirloom varieties related to the original potato varieties of the Andes. They are firm in texture and rich, buttery flavor. Red streak French fingerlings have a nutty flavor. The red ruby crescent has a strong earthy flavor. All fingerling varieties tend to be low in starch and have a good, they're good for roasting and a potato salad. Purple potatoes, purple or blue potatoes have a deep purple skin. The flesh is bright and purple, becoming lighter when cooked. They are mealy with flavors and textures similar to russets. The most common varieties include all blue and Caribe, which are quite popular in the mid-19th century. Red potatoes have a thin red skin and a crisp white waxy flesh, best suited for boiling and steaming. Do not have dry mealy textures that a successful baking requires. Okay, red potatoes are round instead of long or oblong. Popular varieties include the red Pontiac or the Northland. Okay.
Speaking of potatoes, it says new potatoes in the shopping list. Which would you prefer?
The shopping list, we're going to get to it, so keep that in mind. I'm going to get back to the question, okay?
Oh.
So if you haven't shopped yet, you can eliminate the Redskins and go Idaho, but it's up to you. So we're going to go in that minute. Good question. Russet or Burbank, commonly referred to as Idahos, okay, are the standard baking potato. They're long with rough reddish brown skin and mealy flesh. Russets are excellent baked, and they are the best potatoes for frying. They tend to fall apart when boiled. They are marketed in several size categories. Select those to the size most appropriate for the intended use. White potatoes are available around in longer varieties. They have a thin, tender skin with a tender, waxy yellow or white flesh. Round white potatoes are also referred to as chef or all-purpose potatoes. While white potatoes are usually cooked with moist heat and used for sauteing, white roasted finished yellow, popular varieties. Sweet potatoes are from a different botanical family than ordinary potatoes. Although there are also tubers that originate in the New World, the two types are commonly available. One has a yellow flesh and a dry, mealy texture. It's known as boniato, which is popular in Cuba and Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. Okay. White or Caribbean sweet potato. The other one's a darker orange, moisture, fresh, flesh and high sugar. It's known as a red sweet potato. Both types have a thick skins ranging from color from light tan to brownish red. Sometimes dark-skinned sweet potatoes are erroneously labeled yams. Yams are longer, more thinner. Okay, they look like big giant fingerling potatoes. Sweet potatoes should be chosen according to the degree of sweetness. They're best suited for boiling, baking, and pureeing. Although less sweet varieties can be deep fried, they cook fresh, can also be used in breads, pies, and puddings. Sweet potatoes are available canned and can alternate in spice and sugary sauce. Okay, yams are a third type of tuber, botanically different from the both sweet. We go back. I miss it. Right. Wait. Where you go? Okay. Did I miss it? Oh, really? Anyways, the boards are using, so you can use yams and sweet potatoes. They're both, you can mix it. You can use one or the other one. Okay. Third, botanical, different from the both sweet and non-common potatoes. Yams are less sweet than sweet potatoes, but they can be used interchangeably. The flesh yams ranges from creamy white to deep red. Yams are Asian in origin and now found in Africa, South America, and the southern United States. Okay. I love a sweet potato pie. Delicious sweet potato pie. Okay. Even a sweet potato bisque, touch of honey. Okay. Nutrition. Potatoes contain high percentage of easily digested complex carbohydrates and little or no fat. They're also a good source of minerals and vitamins, especially vitamin B6, vitamin C, and potassium. Although much of the vitamin C can be destroyed when potatoes are cooked in liquid. Okay, this is some of the potatoes you'll find in the culinary world: baked potatoes, twice baked, gratin dauphinoise, lyonnaise, fried potatoes, boiled potatoes, and mashed potatoes. If you love potatoes and cheese, lyonnaise is where to go. That has so much cheese, they're like really elastic goodness. Okay. So on Tuesday, this is where the fun begins. This is your menu. You are making vichyssoise, cold leek and potato soup. Okay. Top right picture, that's vichyssoise. You're making pommes, puree the pommes de terre, whipped mashed potatoes. right here on the left-hand side. You're making pommes de terre duchesse, the ones that are piped in a rosette form, nice and golden brown, edges on the outside. Those are duchesse. You're also making potato salad, okay? Let me go on the vichyssoise recipe real quick with you guys, okay? Where it is, where is it? Okay. Let me pull the recipe for the vichyssoise so we're all on the same page, okay? So week 3, Tuesday, day 12, okay? So this on your portal, guys, okay? Vichyssoise, to read the pommes de terre, okay? And duchesse and potato salad. Let's take a look at the vichyssoise, okay? Let me zoom in, okay? It says to make 1 gallon. If you have a large family, you would like to make 1 gallon, you may follow this recipe. If not, what I instruct you guys to cut the recipe in half. Make one less than 1 gallon. You can make 1 quart. Okay, so you need leeks, butter, rosette, chicken stock, which you have, salt, heavy cream, chives. We're not gonna use milk. So 7 ingredients. Okay, and those 7 ingredients are on your shopping list. Okay, I would use 1 pound of leeks. Okay, the white parts. So cut them right in the middle, the lengthwise. Something you cut the green parts, throw in the trash. Cut the green part in the middle, open it, and rinse it in cold water in your sink because those layers of leeks, they might have some dirt or mud in between them. So you got to rinse them as you cut them in half. Okay.
This is for tomorrow.
Correct.
What about the hybrid class? Our stock is at school.
Oh, that's right. Water, we find 2.
Okay.
If you have any chicken cubes or broth, any chicken base, you can use that for flavoring.
We can get like chicken broth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We can get that at like HEB, just like already made chicken stock or chicken broth.
Campbell soups or little carns. Okay.
Okay.
You can buy the cheap one, the top value, 99 cents, whatever the price is. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about it. You guys have your chicken stock at school. So split the leeks lengthwise, wash to remove all sand and grit. Reserve the green part for stock. We're not going to make stock, so you can throw the green part away. Slice the leek to make half-inch circles or half moon. Sweat the leek in butter without browning. Add diced potatoes and stock. Bring to a simmer. Simmer till the leeks and potatoes are very tender. Pass through a food mill. If you don't have the food mill, you may use a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you use a blender. But be careful, it's a hot liquid. Hot liquid in the blender, make sure the top is vented, otherwise it'll explode like a time bomb. You're gonna have potato soup in your ceiling. I know, it happened to me once.
So would you recommend using a food processor over a blender?
You may do that if you have a food processor because a blender has got more high speed and it tends to build a lot of steam, gas inside the blender, so it might pop and explode. Okay.
Okay.
To be on the safer side, I would use a food processor, but again, your choice. Just be careful. Think about safety.
Okay.
After you pass it through, after you puree it, okay, through a blender or food processor, chill the soup to about 41 degrees. Then you can add your cream to the soup, season to taste, and then pass through a fine chinois or colander. You got to strain it. Okay, and then it's served cold with a garnish of chives. Okay, so this is your recipe. It's on the portal, guys, all right? But cut the recipe in half. You don't need 2 pounds of leeks. Like, yeah, whatever. You can use 1 leek. I'm going to use 1 leek here on class on Monday, tomorrow. I'm going to use half the butter. I'm going to use 1 potato. I'm going to use at least about a half a quart to 1 quart of chicken stock. A little bit of salt. I'm going to use maybe 4 ounces heavy cream. Okay, and that's about it. Easy. Vichyssoise. Okay. Next one up. You got your pommes de terre. Okay. Puree pommes de terre.
What did you say that was? It was like
Puree the pommes de terre.
potatoes.
Which ones?
But like you said it was like mashed potatoes?
Yes, puree de pommes de terre is like whipped mashed potatoes. It's
Okay.
just the name, okay, in French. So potatoes, I like to use cream on mine. I disregard the milk. If you want to use milk, that's up to you, but adding milk is going to make him looser. It's going to look like a blob, okay? Butter, salt, and nutmeg. I'm going to leave the nutmeg out. I'm not going to worry about nutmeg on my mashed potatoes, okay? So peel the potatoes, like the recipe says, cut in quarters lengthwise, start in cold water, salted water, boil the potatoes until tender, drain the potatoes, allow them to dry, pass the potatoes through a food mill into another pot. Over low heat, add the scalded milk or cream, okay? The room temperature butter. Do not add too much cream or butter, okay? You want these potatoes to be nice and firm, okay? So they don't want them loose. You want them to be nice little amount. Not too dry, but not too loose, okay? Season with a little bit of salt, okay? And that's it, because what I'm gonna do with you guys tomorrow, I'm gonna put them in a piping bag and pipe them, okay? I'm gonna pipe my bags, okay? My potatoes. So I don't want them to loose. I'm gonna watch how much cream I use on my potatoes, all right, guys? The next one, pommes de terre duchesse, okay? Pommes de terre duchesse. Recipe in the portal, again, it yields 2 pounds, okay? Cut it in half, okay? If your potato is supposed to use a pound, but raw potato may weigh 12 ounces, use it. And they're gonna make a difference, 2 or 3 ounces, okay? Peel you got potatoes, you got butter, nutmeg, salt, egg, and egg yolk. In this recipes, I am gonna use the nutmeg, okay? And again, peel the potatoes, cut in quarters, starting salt and cold water, boil the potatoes until tender, drain the potatoes, allow them to dry, pass the potatoes through a food mill into another pot. These ones are going to pass through a food mill. You need to be smooth, not lumpy or chunky, okay? Add the butter, season to taste, allow the potatoes to cool slightly, add the egg and egg yolk and mix very well. Because if you add the egg or egg yolk when the potatoes are hot, you're going to make scrambled egg potato casserole, okay? And I'm going to put them in a piping bag, and I'm going to show you how to make that circle motion we call rosette. So here's your plate. Here's my piping bag, okay? The potatoes are here attaching to it. I'm going to go round, and as I go around in a circle motion, I'm going to go up, okay? Like a spiral going up, okay? If you go too wide going around, you're going to make a poop emoji, okay? You want that. You want it to be a nice rosette as you saw, okay? And once you put them down in a sheet tray with parchment paper or aluminum foil, okay, you're going to bake them in a 350-degree oven for about 7 to 8 minutes until you have the nice golden brown colors on the outside, okay? Bake them in the oven, okay? Your tater salad, okay, potato salad, okay? It has mayonnaise, waxy potatoes. Use the Idaho's. That's fine. This is where you, Ms. Mary, where'd she go? Ms. Mary, this is where the question you're asking about the red skin potatoes or the new potatoes. Your shopping list has both. You can go universal and use russet or Idaho. So you don't have to buy the red skins, okay? I don't have any. I'm going to use the regular potatoes for my potato salad, okay? Mayonnaise.
So,
go ahead.
For everything, like each item that we're making, are we cutting those in half? Like if we don't want to make that much?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So that's too much, okay? So cut them in half. You got mayonnaise. Yes, Paula.
We're going to be using 4 potatoes, guys, all week long, all right? Four potatoes. Got it?
All together?
Yeah, that means 1 potato is usually what it says is, what is the measurements for that, Chef? It says 2 pounds. 1 potato will probably be close to 1 pound. Isn't that right on the rustic, Chef?
Right.
Yeah, so 4 potatoes, big ones. Do you get what I'm saying, rustic?
Yeah.
Get those, all right?
Okay.
1 for your vichyssoise, 1 for your puree, one for duchess, one for potato salads. Unless you want to make, a lot more than that, you can make more potatoes, okay?
If we're cutting it in half, should we do like half a potato each, or is it still
No,
one
no, no,
potato?
because it says 2 pounds. We're using
Okay.
1 pound. Do you get it now?
Yeah.
All right.
Each Idaho weighs about 1 pound, give or take. That's why I said it. If the recipe says you cut it by half and it says 2 pounds, you're supposed to use 16 pounds, but one potato weighs 14 ounces. Don't sweat 2 ounces. This is potato, okay? So potato salad, mayonnaise, potatoes, eggs, celery, green onions. I'm not going to worry about the radishes. I'm not going to use them. If you want to, go ahead. If not, not necessary. Carnations. Okay, those are little gherkin-looking things ones. Okay, I don't have in my house. Why I do. The Dijon mustard, you can use yellow mustard. Okay, parsley. I don't have parsley. I'm not going to worry about it. No, I do have parsley. Salt and cider vinegar. I'm not going to use cider vinegar. Okay. So if you want to make mayonnaise by hand, knock yourself out. If don't, use your Hellmann's mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. Okay. You already made mayonnaise by hand once, so don't have to worry about sitting with a stainless steel bowl and trying to make mayonnaise. Okay. So I'm not going to make mayonnaise. That's already done. It's in the past. Like I said to you guys, we'll make it one time and that's it. Forget about it. Done deal. Move on, right? So mayonnaise, right? So your potatoes, peel them. Cut them in medium cubes, medium dice. Boil them until tender. Remove them. Strain them. Put them in a cookie sheet tray. Put them in your refrigerator to cool them down. Okay. We want these potatoes to be al dente, soft, but not. You don't have to mash them. Okay. They don't have to be mashed. Okay. Nice and soft. How you know is when you pass your fork through it and you have no resistance, but they don't fall apart. That is nice and al dente potatoes. Okay. Take them out, strain it, put them in a sheet tray, put them in your refrigerator, let them cool down. Then you're going to fold in your medium diced celery, your hard cooked eggs, diced, chopped or shredded, your green onions, okay, your mayonnaise, your cornichons, okay. You're going to fold them in, okay, and you're going to garnish it with a little bit of chopped parsley, okay. So medium diced potatoes, medium diced celery, and the key word is fold them in. Okay, I know in picnics and even at the store, pre-bought potato salad, it looks like mashed potato salad. We're not looking for that. We are looking for you guys to emphasize your knife cuts on the potatoes and celery. So I would say fold it nice and gently. Okay, so you present, you can see your knife cuts in the potato and the celery. Okay, don't sit there mashing them. Okay, this is not, my family's mashed potato recipe, right? You're looking for knife cuts, okay? So you're looking to see how well you cut your potato and celery and how well you folded them in to emphasize a nice little medium-sized potatoes, okay? So that is the basic ingredients, okay? Like I said, I don't like to use vinegar in my potatoes. So if you want vinegar, go for it, okay? Mayonnaise, you don't have to make it by hand. You already made it once. If you got some mayonnaise in your house or you don't have any, buy a little thing of mayonnaise, okay? Keep it apart. Yeah, Ms. Clarissa.
When there is, for our mise en place, when we're doing the production sheet like mayo, is it okay if I put just a previous recipe? Do I have to list everything I need for this? For that recipe?
If you make it by hand, you need to put that recipe of the mayonnaise in your production sheet. I'm using mine from the jar. I'm not learning the recipe down. Makes no sense, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
yeah, if you're making it from scratch, yes, put the recipe down, okay? So, personally, my potato salad, I like to use celery salt, Hidden Valley Ranch powder mix, okay? Celery and onions, potatoes, and mayonnaise. That is it. That's the extent I go to, okay? But for you guys, we're going to follow this one, but we're not going to put the vinegar, and we're not going to worry about the making the mayonnaise by hand. I don't think mayonnaise will be fine, okay? So that's your menu for tomorrow. Plain and simple, right? You're doing cookery, potato cookery. Right, guys? Okay.
Right.
And the recipe, like I said, don't go full recipe, cut it by half. And if the recipe says it's supposed to have 2 pounds, You got 1 pound on the you're supposed to use, but your potato weighs 14 ounces. Don't sweat it. Just use it. Okay. It's not going to make a huge difference. I'm not going to go peel another potato to make up for the missing 2 ounces of potato. Not worth it. Okay.
So tomorrow when we're making this stuff, are we doing each thing like one at a time?
You can, because each the potatoes are cooked differently. The mashed and the duchesse, okay, they cook the same, but they're different recipes. Okay, so you may cook those same in the same pot, but just divvying up when they cook. The potato salad you can cook it separately, okay, because you need to check it, make sure it's the right texture, okay. And the soup is a whole entire recipe by itself. That needs to be cooked separately, okay?
I mean, I'd rather do them one at a time. I was just wondering.
Yeah. So that is it for Tuesday. Yes, Chef Paula.
Can I ask you a question? So when we do the pomme de terre, the piping potatoes with the egg and the egg yolk,
yes,
you can go ahead and usually make them ahead of time and refrigerate them and then bake them when you need them, correct? Or in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
They can be on a sheet pan in the refrigerator, so you can go ahead and make them ahead of time and put them in there and then use them when you need it?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Okay. So
Should
that's
we do it with you though?
Huh?
Yeah.
Should we do it with you though?
Yeah, you got to do it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's in general. You can, if you have a long mass production, make them ahead of time and put them in coolant and take them out the next day and fire them in the oven.
Okay.
Yes, you can. But that is the menu for Tuesday. Potato cookery. Vichyssoise, cold potato soup, puree de pommes de terre, mashed with potatoes, pommes de terre duchesse, and potato salad. Emphasize your knife cuts on the potato salad. Don't want to see mashed potato salad. Okay, don't mash it. Fold it nice and gently. Okay. That is the menu for Tuesday. Okay. Let's take a look at Wednesday. Okay. Where's Wednesday? Wednesday, we're going to take a look at grains. Wednesday, we're going to go into pasta cookery, guys. Pasta cookery Wednesday, okay? Wednesday, okay? And on this day, you are not going to use the portal recipe for pasta. I'm going to give you the recipe when we go with the menu, okay? So do not use the recipe that is on the portal for this pasta, okay? All right, guys? I'm going to give you one that is relatively easy to make. So pasta, you'll find it in chapter 23, pages 675 through 682 on your book, okay? Pasta is made from unleavened dough of wheat flour mixed with liquid. Liquid is usually egg and or water. The flour can be from almost any grain, wheat, buckwheat, rice, combination of grains. Dough can be colored or flavored with puree vegetables, herbs, and other ingredients. It can also be cut into extruded into a wide shapes and sizes. Pasta can be cooked fresh, or the dough is still moist and pliable, or the dough can be allowed to dry completely before cooking. Pasta can be filled or sauced in an endless variety of ways. It can stand alone or be used in salads, desserts, soups, or casseroles. Pasta is widely used in the cuisine of Asia, North America, and Europe. In Italy, pasta dishes are usually served as a separate course, often referred as minestre. In European countries, Asia, and the United States, pasta dishes may be served as an appetizer, entree, or side dish. Okay? So identifying pastas. Better known pastas are based on the Italian tradition of kneading wheat flour with water and eggs to form a smooth, resilient dough. Okay? The dough needs to be nice and smooth. Cannot be looking like a crater. Cannot be looking like the moon. It cannot be porous, nice and smooth. The dough is then rolled out very thin and cut into various shapes before being boiled in water or dried longer for storage. commercially prepared dry pasta products are usually made with semolina flour. Okay, semolina flour ground from a hard durum wheat and available from specialty purveyors has a rich, creamy color and produces a very smooth, durable dough. Semolina dough requires a great deal of kneading. However, bread flour is an acceptable substitute when preparing fresh pasta by hand. Okay, so if you cannot find semolina, because I had a student in the morning who's having a hard time, you can substitute bread flour instead. Okay, if you don't have semolina, you can sub it with bread flour. Okay, and I'm gonna go into the reasons why and how come and why flour pasta dough is utilized for a different option. I mean, for different cooking, different pasta than semolina. Okay. So Italian style of pasta made with pure semolina flour, which gives dough rich yellow color. Gray or streaked dough probably contains softer flours. You can make ribbons, tubes, shapes, Asian noodles, wheat noodles, rice noodles, bean starch noodles, buckwheat noodles. Here in the United States, we bastardize the names of the pasta. Okay, we bastardize them. Okay, in Italy, for example, angel hair does not exist. The term or the word or the name angel hair does not exist in Italy. We gave that the name here because we could not remember the actual name of the pasta style shape. Okay, in Italy, angel hair is called capellini. Here in the States, we call it angel hair. In Central and South America, we call it fideo. They're the same pasta, but different names. Okay. The other one here in the States, we call it bow tie pasta. Anybody knows why bow tie pasta is called in Italy? The original name?
No.
Farfalle is the original name of bow tie pasta. Another one. Go ahead.
Say it. I always say farfel. What is it?
Farfalle.
Okay.
Farfalle. Yeah. The other one is rotini. Here we call it rotini, the spiral-shaped pasta, right? Italy is called fusilli. Okay. Fusilli. If you guys know Jerry Seinfeld, there's a little segment of fusilli pasta. It's called Jerry Fusilli. Okay. At the store, we got different name brands. We got Del Checo, Barilla is another one of dry box pastas. Okay. So fresh pasta versus dry pasta, boiling down the difference. What is the difference between both of them? Many of us grew up in the kitchen with pantries that overflowed with boxes upon boxes of dry pasta, all shapes, all sizes, and textures. This dinner time mainstreams came into brands like, again, Del Checo, Roncini, and Barilla, and more reliable sources of pasta that seem to be pair perfectly with all-day Sunday sauce or quick weekday marinara sauce. Home cooks and families they fed were all thoroughly content of the dry pasta lifestyle and never even considered alternative food that is shaped the Italian American upbringing. Have you guys ever had fresh homemade pasta?
Yes.
What do you think about that versus a box dry pasta?
Everything's better fresh.
I always say once you go fresh pasta, you never go dry pasta again.
That's
Okay.
true.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? Oof. Yeah. Sometime around 1900s and 2000, food found its way into the pop culture. Foodie movement spawned by the Food Network and similar entertainment efforts elevated eating the trending new heights. Well, this phenomenon led to a celebration of cultures from around the world, also resulted in an unfortunate instance of food discrimination, where pretentious types of would scoff at any foods determined not fresh. Okay. In some foodie circles, dry pasta was labeled as an inferior to its fresh counterpart, and unworthy sauces prepared by five-star chefs and home cooks alike. There was ever a food opinion that was undercooked is that. The truth is both fresh and dry pasta belong in your kitchen repertoire. The recipes that benefit from having fresh pasta on hand, well, there are some preparations that will be far more successful when you utilize the boxed dry pasta. At the end, it's the main goal to create a meal that is above all else delicious. Okay, it's all personal preference. I got a couple of boxes of pasta in my pantry. I'm not gonna lie. but I'm not going to sit here and make fresh pasta. Okay? It's convenience. Okay. Fresh pasta and dry pasta are actually two completely different pasta types. Not all pasta begins life as a fresh pasta. For example, you don't take fresh pasta and hang it on the food dehydrator to make dry pasta. A dry pasta certainly isn't the fresh pasta that's gone bad or left out to go stale like bread. Two types of pasta are actually comprised of unique ingredients, which end up resulting in two products that are basically two entirely different foods. Dry pasta is made from the different kinds of dough without eggs, along the flour are the primary ingredients with fresh pasta. Two separate preparations include disparate textures, tastes, and colors. What's more, many of these pasta shapes you know and love only possible in dry pasta. Okay. So dry pasta made from semolina, flour, water, and salt can be stored at room temperature almost indefinitely. Air-dried, bronze extruded pastas originally in southern Italy. Northern Italy, by way up north, pasta is almost unheard of. Why? Because northern Italy is close to the Austrian border and France. Use a lot of polenta, risotto, heavy cream and butter. Central and southern Italy, more olive oil, olives, more pasta, more of the Mediterranean diet. Okay. Fresh pasta contains eggs and additional water, more tender than dried, and takes half the time to cook. Delicate texture makes it perfect for cream and dairy-based sauces. Fresh pasta is far more smooth than dried. Fresh pasta is more commonly in northern Italy. Okay. You've heard the term al dente. It is a toothsome bite that all pasta sheds from their with their salt strive for the kitchen. This firm structure, the main calling card for dry pasta, provides the strength needed for dry pasta to stand up to heavier sauces. With more ingredients, some of the very best long dry pastas, including spaghetti, rigatoni, linguine, and bucatini, all take extremely well with tomato sauces and ingredients like meat, garlic, and oil, capers, olives, anchovies, beans, peas, and chopped veggies. Okay. So when should you use fresh pasta? Fresh pasta, on the other hand, isn't intended to be served al dente. Instead, this pasta should be prepared until it's tender and almost velvety to the touch and to the tooth. This makes pasta ideal for delicate sauces that use melted butter or whole milk as a base, like Alfredo or carbonara sauce. Carbonara sauce, it's not bechamel with bacon and peas. That's lazy way. Okay. So, okay. Let's talk about grains. You're going to find us in chapter 23, page 665 and 670. Grains, botanically grains are grasses that bear edible seeds. Corn, rice, and wheat are the most significant. Both fruit, that is the seed of the kernel, and the plant that are called the grain. Most grain kernels are protected by a hollow husk. All kernels are composed of the distinctive parts, the bran, endosperm, the germ. The bran is a tough outer layer covering the sperm. Endosperm, the bran is a good source of fiber, vitamin B complex. Endosperm is the largest part of the kernel that is the source of protein and carbohydrates. It is a part primarily in milk products such as flour. The germ is the smallest portion of the grain and is the only part that contains fat, and it's also rich in thiamine. Bran, endosperm and germ can be separated by milling. Okay, so identifying grains. Some products are available in a stone ground form, like oatmeal too. This means that the grains are ground with a stone mill rather than a steel blades typically used for cracking or grinding, holding or peeling. Stone grinders are gentler and more precise, so they're less likely to overgrind the grain. Stone ground products will always be labeled such as, and usually more expensive than steel ground ones. Okay, like oats. A lot of people prefer the steel cut oats. So again, personal preference. Okay. Corn, the only grain that is also eaten fresh as a veggie. I don't know. I don't eat it fresh. I got to cook it and boil it. It is used as a dry grain, dates back to several thousand years in Central America, and a long preceded use of its vegetable. Cornmeal made by drying and grinding a special type of corn known as dent, which may be yellow, white, or blue. Cornmeal is most often used in breads as a coating for dry fried foods or cooked as polenta or mush. Products made with cornmeal have a gritty texture and a sweet but starchy flavor. Hominy, also known as pozole or sap, is dried corn that has been soaked with in hydrated lime or lye. This causes the kernel to swell, loosen at its hulls. The hulls and germs are removed and the kernels are dried. These white yellow kernels resemble popcorn, but they're soft, chewy texture with a smoky, sour flavor. Hominy is available dried or cooked in can. It may be served as a side dish or used in stews or soups. Masa harina, a finely ground flour made from dried hominy used in making breads, tortillas, tamales, and other Mexican Southwestern dishes. Grits are made from hominy. If you like grits, you'll be eating hominy all this time. Okay? Traditionally made from grinding dried hominy, these tiny white granules may be used in baked dishes, but are most often served as a hot breakfast cereal, usually topped with butter or cheese. Quick cooking instant grits are available as well too. Okay, let's take a look at rice. Rice, baby. It is a starchy seed of a semi-aquatic grass, probably originated in the Indian subcontinent or Southeast Asia. Rice is used as a staple by more than half the world's population. Rice can be incorporated into almost any cuisine, from Asia to Spanish to classic French. Its flavors adapt to the foods and seasonings which may the rice cook or serve. Its texture adds appealing chewiness to meet the popular dishes, poultry dishes, salads, breadings, and puddings. Rice is not limited to a side dish, but may be used in stews and curries for stuffing veggies, game birds, and the puddings. Salads, beverages such as Mexican horchata, right, with rice, right? You can also make it with oatmeal, but it's not the same. And breads, rice is divided into three parts, three types based on the size. You got long grains, medium grain, and short grain. Long grain rice is the most versatile and popular worldwide. The grains remain fluffy and separate when cooked. It can become sticky to overcook or stir frequently during cooking. Short grain rice has more starch and becomes quite tender and sticky when cooked. Italian risotto, Japanese sushi, or Spanish paella traditionally made with short grain rice. Appearance and starch content of medium grain rice falls somewhere between medium grain, becomes sticky when cooked, so when it cools, it's best eaten was made fresh. Long grain, medium grain rice, and short grain rice are available in different process forms. All rice originally brown. The grains can be left whole with the bran attached to the brown rice, so they can be pearled for one more familiar polished white rice. Both brown rice and white rice can be processed into converted rice or instant rice, like Minute rice, okay? Be converted, okay? Converted rice is parboiled to remove the surface starch. This procedure also forces nutrients from the bran to the grain's endosperm. Therefore, converted rice retains more nutrients than regular meal white rice. Although the flavor is the same, converted rice is neither pre-cooked or instant. In fact, it cooks more slowly than regular meal white rice. Instant cooking, quick cooking rice is widely available and useful if time is concerned. Instant rice is treated by fully cooking and then flash raised meal rice. Unfortunately, this processing removes some of the nutrients and flavor. Arborio, round, short grain rice, primarily used in Italian dishes such as risotto. Very sticky with a white color and mild flavor. Okay. Basmati, my favorite to use, very aromatic. In matar pulao, biryani, Indian cuisine. Basmati rice is one of the finest, longest grain rices in the world. It grows in the Himalayan foothills and is preferred in Indian cuisine. It is highly aromatic with a sweet, delicate flavor and a creamy yellow color. Basmati rice is usually aged to improve its aromatic qualities in a grainy with sandy texture. Therefore, it should be substituted for all the wheat flour breads and baked goods. Other grains, you got millet, high protein cereal grain with bland, slightly nutty flavor with a white color, usually principally as minimal animal fodder in the United States. Millet can be cooked and eaten like rice or toasted like buckwheat and cooked like kasha. It can also be ground for flour. Okay? Millet is usually sold whole and the husk are extremely hard. Oats, oatmeal. After rice, oats are probably the most widely acceptable whole grain product in the American diet. Oats are consumed daily as a hot breakfast cereal. Used in breads, muffins, cookies, and other baked goods. I used to make my milkshake, my smoothie in the morning. Oat groat is the whole oat kernel with only the husk removed, contains both the bran and germ. Steel cut oats, sometimes known as Irish oats or groats, are toasted and then get to cut small pieces by steel blades. Roll oats, marketed as old-fashioned oats, are groats that have been steamed, then rolled into flakes, flat flakes. Quick cooking oats are simply rolled oats, cut into smaller pieces to reduce cooking time. Instant oats particularly cook and then dry before rolling, so they need only to be rehydrated in boiling water. That's what you get in the little packages. Okay. Instant oats, okay. Roll oats are quick cooking. Oats can be used interchangeably, but instant oats should not be substituted for most recipes. Oat bran is the outer covering of a whole oat. It is available in a separate product. Although roll oats or cut oats do not contain some of the oat bran. Quinoa. Quinoa. It's a native in South America Andes, with most common food in the Incas, who referred to as the mother grain. Although not botanically true grain, quinoa's tiny seeds are treated as such. The grains are small, flattened spheres, approximately 1/16 inch of a diameter, ring in the germ. They can become translucent when cooked and have a slightly smoky sesame seed-like flavor. Several varieties include the quinoa available, ranging in color from dark to brown, almost white. Larger, wider varieties are most common and considered superior. Okay? Your menu for Wednesday. Your menu for Wednesday. You're making basic pasta dough, okay? Basic pasta dough, because you're gonna make fettuccine, okay? You're gonna use your tomato sauce for this day, okay? Let me give you the recipe. Here it is, okay? 2 different recipes for pasta dough. You got semolina, which you are going to use on Wednesday. Semolina.
Chef, what is that alternate that you could use instead of the semolina?
Either it's called 00 flour / pizza flour or bread flour.
Okay.
Okay. Semolina recipe, it's 120 grams of semolina and it's 50 grams of water. Okay. It is perfect for fettuccine, spaghetti, and lasagna. Tagliatelle. Okay. 00 flour, or as we call it in the grocery stores, pizza flour. You need 100 grams of that flour, 1 egg, 1 egg yolk. Okay. Semolina, again, it's for fettuccine, spaghetti, and lasagna. Flour pasta dough is perfect for ravioli or tortellini. You can also use it for fettuccine. The only difference is when you keep on eating that flour pasta, the moisture is going to come out and it's going to become wet and sticky. So you need to constantly add some flour at your table as you're kneading it, okay? Because the moisture is going to come out, okay? So it's going to take a little more elbow grease to knead that flour pasta dough. Yes, Mary?
Sorry. What can I use if I don't have like a pasta cutter? Should I just use normal knife cuts, or how would that work?
We're going to use our knives to cut it. Okay. So the difference between 00 flour, aka pizza flour, and bread flour, pizza flour has 14% protein content, as bread flour has 12% protein content. So pizza flour, aka 00 flour, is perfect for pizza dough, for pizza shells, for focaccia. That's what gives the pizza dough the nice crispy texture at the bottom when it's baking in the oven. And that's what gives this hardiness, okay? Bread dough might act a little bit different. It's not going to give it that hardiness as pizza dough, okay? So that is the difference between both of them. 00, 12%, no, 00, 14, bread flour, 12%, okay? Remember those recipes. You will be making this pasta dough again when you guys go to regional. So write them down, keep them with you. Do not use the recipe of the portal for Wednesday, okay? That one has a combination of flour and semolina. It's insane, okay? So pasta dough, you are going to make fettuccine, okay? Here in the picture, you make a little mound of your semolina. In this case, is Mary, your flour. Add your semolina, use the semolina, add your water and fold that in, okay, with the fork until it becomes the dough and knead it with your hand. If you're using eggs and egg yolks, flour, fork, and knead it with your hand. But have some AP flour on the side so you can dust your table and keep the pasta from getting all wet and sticky, okay?
Go back to the one before it. The recipe. Okay.
That
1 minute.
And
you're going to repeat one more time, Sheffy. What each of those things are for.
Semolina is for fettuccine, spaghetti, or lasagna.
Okay.
The other one is for tortellini and or ravioli. It can also be used for the other ones, but it's going to be a lot more challenging kneading it and cutting it.
So it's really just for fettuccine, or whatever.
Yeah.
And something stuffed, what they call them, ravioli.
Yes.
Oh, I can make ravioli.
Yeah, you're going to make it in a regional cuisine, ravioli.
Okay.
Yeah. So basic pasta dough with your tomato sauce. You're going to turn it to fettuccine. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to make
Thank you.
crispy polenta, creamy polenta. You're going to soak some black beans. Okay. So let's take a look at the recipe for crispy polenta. Okay.
Thank you.
Are those on the portal?
Yes, that's where I'm going right now. Okay. So I'm gonna go to day 13. Okay. So go to day 13. Click on that one. Okay. Here's your recipes. On day 13. Okay, guys. I mean your menu. Okay. I'm gonna click on crispy polenta. I'm gonna pull that one up first. Ingredients: chicken stock, cornmeal, salt and pepper, Parmesan cheese, and whole butter. Okay. The rest of this is on the portal. You're gonna cut it by half. Okay. Bring the liquid and salt to a boil. Slowly add the cornmeal while whisking, constantly to prevent lumps. Lower heat and simmer for 30 minutes. Stir frequently. Finish with butter and Parmesan cheese. Season to taste. Scrape the polenta into a butter portion line half sheet tray to have even thickness, about 1 inch thick. Use your offset spatula to spread it. Refrigerate and chill. Okay. And then you're gonna cut it and then sear it in a saute pan. Okay. You're gonna sear both sides. Okay. To have a nice charred look on the outside. Okay. That is your crispy polenta. It's on your portal. And let me go over the soft polenta, the creamy polenta. Okay. Creamy polenta. Okay. Here we go. It has chicken or vegetable stock, polenta, yellow onion, olive oil, garlic, mushrooms, basil, oregano, butter, salt and pepper, cream, heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, and basil sprigs. Okay. The recipe says lightly season liquid with salt and bring to a boiling. Slowly add the coarse polenta while whisking constantly to prevent lumps. Lower heat and simmer for 30 minutes. Stir frequently. Saute the onions, garlic, and mushrooms with olive oil until tender. Add the basil and oregano. Scald the cream. Add to the polenta. Scalding means put your heavy cream on the stock pot, bring it to a simmering point. It's going to go to the top. Okay, that's scalding. Don't let it overflow. It's going to make a mess in your stovetop. Okay. Add the cream to the polenta. Add the butter. Add 2/3 of the mushroom mixture. Add Parmesan. Season to taste. Adjust the consistency with stock. Serve immediately. That's your creamy polenta. Okay, guys. Recipes from the portal. It is right there. I'm going to cut this recipe by half. Okay.
So for the tomato sauce that goes with the fettuccine,
Yeah.
can we find that recipe anywhere?
You already made it last week, remember?
Yeah, I don't remember all the measurements and everything, but I'm sure I can figure it out.
It's on the portal. The recipe's in the portal.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, go to last week on Friday and pull out the recipe for tomato sauce.
Okay.
So that is, excuse me. So that's your recipe for, that's your menu for Wednesday. And those are your recipes, okay, guys? So don't forget to soak your black beans, okay, guys, for Wednesday. Okay. Any questions about Wednesday?
I have a question, Chef.
Yes.
I didn't hear that last part of what you say. It was about the soaked black beans. Are we not doing those?
Yes, you are going to soak the black beans
Okay, so we are doing them.
overnight.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll take a longer time to cook the next day. Okay.
Okay.
So are
Interesting.
we soaking them overnight on Wednesday or tomorrow?
You're gonna soak it on Wednesday for Thursday.
Okay.
So pasta dough, I'm gonna show you how to work the pasta dough. As a matter of fact, let me pop in a little quick video on pasta dough. Don't follow this recipe, just follow that technique, all right? The technique is what we're looking for, okay, guys? And I'm gonna pop the link on the chat. You guys can look at it on your time, okay? So this is a pasta dough made by hand with no pasta machine, okay? Here we go.
Jen, the All Recipes member who submitted this fresh semolina and egg pasta recipe says, nothing beats fresh pasta. And this simple recipe is the best thing ever. You can use this recipe to make any style of pasta you like, from fettuccine to ravioli to lasagna. Semolina is a special variety of wheat flour available at health food stores and gourmet grocery stores. Let's begin this recipe by sifting together 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of semolina flour, and a pinch of salt, and sift onto a clean work surface.
And again, we're not following this recipe, okay? Just a technique.
Chef, Rebecca asked if you could put the subtitles on.
There we go.
Use a fork to make a deep well in the center.
Thank you.
Crack 6 large eggs in a bowl. Pour them into the well. Add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Whisk the eggs and oil gently with a fork. Then begin to incorporate the flour mixture from the sides of the well. When the mixture becomes too thick to mix with a fork, begin kneading it with your hands. Dust the dough and work surface with semolina flour as needed to keep the dough from sticking. Knead the dough for 8 to 12 minutes or until it's smooth and supple. Wrap the dough in plastic. Allow it to rest at room temperature for about 30 minutes. Unwrap the dough. Divide the dough into smaller pieces. And a small piece at a time, roll it out using a pasta machine or a rolling pin to a thickness of about 1/16 of an inch.
We're gonna do it by hand, okay? So make sure you have a small amount of AP flour, okay? You're gonna roll it with a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, a bottle will do the same job, okay? So after you grab your pasta dough, you're gonna cut in small pieces, flour your table, have your bench scraper next to you. Grab the pasta dough, put it on top of the flour table, roll it around, pick it up, flour your table again, turn it upside down, roll it again on the flour table, pick it up, dust some more flour, okay? And you're gonna roll it from the middle outwards, okay? Outwards, not back and forth, because you only activated the good molecules. It's gonna work against you. So roll it out this way, to the side or even towards you, okay? Until you have that 1/16 of an inch thick. Once you have 1/16 of an inch thick, you're gonna flour it again, a lot of flour. Fold it in half, flour, fold it in half again, flour, fold it in half again. Okay, and then maybe a flour and fold it in half again. So you're going to be about this thick. Okay, that flour in between each layer is going to prevent the pasta dough from sticking with each other. Okay, you're going to turn it horizontal against you, in front of you, and you're going to cut it about 1/2 inch thick slices. 1/2 inch thick slices. As you cut it, have your little sheet tray or landing piece of equipment. Grab each strand, shape it, shake it, put it in the on the cookie sheet tray, and you're going to form little bundles. You're going to form about 3 little bundles of fettuccine. Fluff them and dust them with flour, each little bundle, okay? Because if you're going to cut them all and put them in the same bundle without fluffing them or adding flour, that weight of the pasta is going to weigh it down. It's going to get sticky. Then you're going to have an issue. The pasta is going to be stuck to each other. You're going to have to roll it again to a dough and go through the whole process again. So very important to pull it each strand on the side, make little bundles, and dust it with flour so it doesn't stick together. When you're going to cook it, have your pot of boiling water, salt, and you're going to cook each bundle separately at a time. Because if you drop in both 3 at the same time, what's going to happen? They're going to go back like a magnet, and they're going to become a big old lump of pasta. Okay, so 1 bundle at a time, and then separate the bundles when they're boiling. Dish them out, shock them in nice water, strain them, okay, and then put them in a little container or bowl, and dress them with some oil so they'll stick together again, because they will continue to bleed that starch, and they're going to go back to the original shape. I mean, they're going to bake like big clumpy beds of pasta. Okay, reheat your tomato sauce slowly and add the pasta to tomato sauce. Reheat them both at the same time. Okay, boom, you got fettuccine with tomato sauce. Okay, and I'm going to work with you guys on what is this, Wednesday? Wednesday, here at home, we're gonna follow how to make it by hand, how to cut it, how to boil it, how to go about it. Okay, so you're gonna follow me on this one. Okay, very imperative to have a little cup of flour, a container of flour to dust your table so it doesn't stick to your table. Okay, because otherwise it's gonna be a huge sticky mess. I do have a pasta machine, but I'm not gonna use it. I've had it since 98, 97. Cost me $37 up in New York, and I still have it with me. Okay, but I'm not gonna use it. Okay.
So we're gonna use flour and semolina?
Yes, flour is okay because you're dusting it. You don't have, I know some people say, well, I got semolina dough, I'm gonna use semolina. No. Use flour to dust it. Okay, flour is better. Semolina is a lot coarser, so flour is gonna get all over the pasta. It's gonna prevent from sticking together. Okay.
So we're using semolina to knead into the dough, but we're using flour to dust it so it doesn't stick.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Okay. So that's pasta. Any questions about that?
Desired thickness. Dust with semolina flour is needed. Cut the pasta into pasta sheets to make ravioli with your favorite later, or cook it right away in salted boiling water.
It doesn't have the cooking part. So that's your pasta for Wednesday. Okay, that is your menu for Wednesday. Any questions about Wednesday?
Are you gonna go over all the steps and stuff with us again?
The day off, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So the day off, I'm going to set up my kitchen like I did last week on Monday and Tuesday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'm going to make the pasta in front of you guys on the screen so you guys can follow me step by step. Okay. Ask questions as I'm rolling the pasta. Ask questions as I'm cutting it. Ask questions as I'm boiling. So you're going to be working with it with me. Okay. Got it?
Got it. Thank you.
Let's go to Thursday. Well, Thursday wouldn't be in the kitchens, but let's go with Thursday. Okay. Day 14. Thursday. Grains. We're going to talk about grains. Talk about grains, guys. Okay. Grains, because we're going to be cooking rice this day. Okay. Different kinds of grains. You got millet, gluten-free, high in fiber, mild in flavor, treat it like rice, or try serving it with quinoa. You got wild rice. It is not rice. It is a grass. Okay, but Uncle Ben's wild rice makes it excellent. It's perfect. It's delicious. I love it. Anyways, it's a grass. grows in lakes and streams. It takes a while to cook, but stays deliciously al dente. Okay? Barley, the most nutritious barley is the hull-less or hull, not pearl. Contains more bran. Wheat berries. These kernels are on the whole wheat grain. Bran and German tack. Hard wheat is generally chewer than tender soft wheat. Fricke. These grains contain more green, underripe, wheat that is roasted or smoked, giving a toasty flavor. Try using it to make tabbouleh. Ooh, I love tabbouleh. Amaranth. Considered a superfood of the Aztecs, amaranth is technically a seed, has all 9 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein. Sorghum. Dress these gluten-free grains generally with saucy vinaigrette. They'll really absorb really nice. Okay. Farro, hardy wheat kernel, is great in salads and soups. Used to place arborio. I used to place arborio to make farotto. Get it? Risotto, farotto. Okay. Rye berries. If you like pumpernickel bread, temperature rye whiskey, get to know the slender green tinted grains they can come from. Spelt. Spelt is smooth, shiny outer layer, stays intact with cook. I'm making it ideal for sauté dishes. It is likely to stick on the pan. Okay. Black rice. Thanks to its relatively thin bran layer, Chinese black rice cooked fairly quickly delivers a deep flavor and looks amazing in salads. Okay. Legumes. Let's talk about legumes. Okay. Lentils and peas. Okay. Types of legumes. You got black beans or turtle beans. Have a soft, creamy texture that is great on its way in its own or any number of South Central American dishes. You got brown beans, similar in taste and texture to black pinto or kidney beans. You can usually use them interchangeably. Navy beans, excellent for Boston baked beans, otherwise known as haricot, pearl haricot beans, Boston beans, white pea bean, or pea bean, larger with an oval, slightly flat shape, become creamy when cooked, so they're great for smashing or taking thick soups or creamy dips. Okay? Lentils come in all colors through brown and green, and are relative variety you find most often. It holds its texture well when cooked, making it as a great base for veggies and burgers. Red lentils have an outer seed shell removed, meaning they're quicker cooking and break down more. They're a great addition to soups and stews. Red lentil dal in Indian cuisine, oh man, it's good. Split peas, have it split down the middle to help them cook faster. A classic Dutch pea soup recipe. Chickpeas or garbanzo beans, Mediterranean Middle Eastern staple, which are rich, nutty flavor. They're great for roasting, adding soups, whipping into hummus, or sprinkling over salads. Hummus among us, love hummus. With some grilled pita bread, you dip it. You gotta have the tahini and sesame seed oil, a little bit of lemon juice, maybe some roasted garlic. Delicious hummus. Oh yeah. Split chickpeas. Typically the split version of the desi chickpeas, smaller yellow grain variation of chickpeas. They're common in Indian cuisine where they're known as chana dal. Don't get it confused with the bad word a-hole in India. Okay, it's called chanal. So when you cut somebody in India and just call them chanal, like what? So how to cook legumes, beans. Freshness are really important when it comes to drying legumes. According to the Dry Bean Council, beans have been stored for 12 months in unfavorable conditions and may never soften. Older beans will also be declining nutrient levels. The best age for fresh, dry green beans from harvest to 4 months old. If you have some legumes on hand, they will be never come as soft, regular legumes. As food scientist Harold McGee, remember I was talking to you guys about food and science. Harold McGee, awesome author on food and cooking. It's packed somewhere in the box. Anyways, the hesitant result for a number of changes in the bean cells and interiors, including the formation of woody lignin, the conversion of phenolic compounds into tannins that cross linked protein to form a water-resistant coating around the starch granules. There's no way to reverse these changes and make it hard to cook beans and salt the regular beans. That's why we're going to soak them on Wednesday for Thursday. Okay. Soak or not to soak? I don't like to soak my black eyed peas. I'm sorry, y'all. I will soak my navy beans. I will soak my pinto beans. I will soak my black beans, but I will not soak my black eyed peas. Okay, to make nice Hopping John. So much conflicting information about soaking dry beans. Some say it's start of the day ahead. Some say soak overnight or for a couple of hours. Yet others maintain that you don't have to soak them at all. Really, it's more of a personal preference, and therefore both pros and cons to soaking. Things you need to consider. Cooking time. Are they going to take a long time to cook? Yes, soak them overnight. Okay. Flatulence. Legumes are rich in fiber and complex sugars, which humans cannot digest. Okay. Bacteria in the intestines digest these complex sugars while releasing carbon dioxide. The good news is that soaking reduces flatulent-related substances. That's why when you eat beans, you get bloated, you get gassy, right? Right? You know all the fun jokes about beans, right? So soaking them reduces the chance of getting bloated and having gas. Okay. Nutrients. When you soak, some of the vitamins and minerals leach into the soaking water. The amount of nutrients lost during soaking is pretty negligible. Intensive soaking actually increases the nutritional content, the nutritional content of proteins, fiber, and a few nutrients such as thiamine or calcium. The study published of plant foods for human nutrition found these differences, nutrients and legumes. Okay, to drain or not to drain. Okay, you're going to be making a black bean soup tomorrow. You don't have to drain them. Okay. My black eyed peas, when I cook them, I don't like to drain them because they have a lot of flavor. But when I cook my navy beans, I drain it because I'm going to mix them in with the mixture to make Boston baked beans. So it all depends on your personal preference and what the beans are going to be used for, okay? Cooking legumes, a stovetop, slow cooker, pressure cooker, oven. I like to cook them in a stovetop because you're going to start about 2 inches of water above the beans. But the longer they cook, they're going to soak that liquid and they're going to get dried out. They're probably going to get burned or scorched at the bottom. If you ever burn beans on the stovetop, man, they stink the whole entire freaking house. They smell. So I like to put them in the stovetop and having a low to medium heat to get them simmer so they slowly absorb the liquid and add more liquid as I cook them until they become nice and tender and take them out. You can also put them in a slow cooker, pressure cooker, even in the oven. But the oven's going to take a longer time because the heat is all over. It's not in direct contact with the pot. Okay. A little bit about black bean history. Black beans, botanically known as Phaceolus vulgaris, are native to the Americas, one of about 500 kidney beans. Black beans, also known as turtle beans, caviar criollo, frijoles negros. These beans date back to at least 7,000 years when they were a food staple in the diets of Central and South Americas. They remain popular in many households in the Americas, while the black bean is native to Americas has become popular around the world. These beans have become especially popular in contemporary Punjabi cuisine, in Louisiana Cajun and Creole cuisine. Turtle bean has also become a staple. So what is a black bean? Beans are about the size of a pea, about ½ an inch long, slightly less pronounced boat shape, common in kidney beans. They have a satiny black skin and the white center. When cooked, the beans have a creamy texture with a strong, slightly sweet flavor. Okay. Your menu for Thursday. Menu for Thursday. Yes, Pablo, you got a question?
You're going to need a break after you do Thursday.
All right.
All right? It's 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you
for them, not for me.
Okay. So Thursday's menu. You're making rice pilaf, risotto, and black beans. Rice pilaf is on your practical, just as like your pommes de terre, pure puree de pommes de terre from Tuesday. Rice pilaf is also on the practical. Now you got 2 items. On Tuesday you're making puree de pommes de terre, and Thursday you're making rice pilaf. Those 2 are on the practical. Okay. So rice pilaf, risotto, and black beans. Let's take a look at the recipe for rice pilaf. Okay. Let's take a look at real quick. Okay. Day 14. Okay, we done pasta. Okay. Rice pilaf. Let's take a look, see what the recipe calls for. Okay. Butter, clarified butter. We are going to clarify it. You're going to put some whole butter in the stovetop over a low heat until it separates. The bottom is going to be your milk solids, and the top foam is going to be the impurities. Skim off the top impurities and only use the yellow liquid. That's clarified butter. Onions, carrots, celery, long grain rice, basmati rice. Okay. Chicken stock and salt. Okay. This calls for brunoise, on the veggies. Now we know Brunoise, right? We moved that. So if you come in here on Thursday and you're asking for Brunoise, that train is long left the station. That was the second week. You should know how to Brunoise, right? You're gonna sweat the Mirepoix butter, add the rice and coat grains in butter. Do not brown. We're not making Spanish rice. Pour in the boiling stock, so the stock has to be hot, and season with salt. Cover the pot lightly and place in a 350-degree oven. Bake until the liquid has absorbed the rice and the rice is tender. Approximately about 18-20 minutes. Fluff, but do not cover or stir. Okay. Adjust seasonings. So now you need to season it before it goes to the oven. Once you put the chicken stock, season it with salt. This makes 16 ounces. You can make this whole recipe if you are going to, feed more than just yourself, all right? Or you can cut this recipe by half, okay? So long grain rice, 1 cup. I'm gonna use this recipe on this day, okay? I'm gonna make the demo for the morning class and I'm gonna go with this recipe as it is. I'm not gonna cut it back, okay? So butter, onion, carrot, celery, rice, chicken stock, okay? That is the rice pilaf, okay? 2 cooking techniques, saute and bake, okay? Risotto. Okay, risotto, let's take a look and see what risotto is all about. It's one of those dishes you cannot walk away from it, okay, guys? You gotta baby it. Okay, this is your baby, okay? Chicken stock, hot, whole butter, arborio rice, onion small dice, garlic mince, Parmesan grated, whole butter for finishing, and salt. On you guys on the hybrid, you got mushrooms on your shopping box. Use those mushrooms to add in your risotto, okay? So bring seasoned stock to simmer, sweat onions and garlic and butter, add the rice, so you get the stock is gonna be hot separate. You're gonna sweat your onions and garlic, add the rice, okay? Toast for about 3 to 4 minutes, do not brown. Increase the heat and add your stock. Stir until the liquid is absorbed. Keep adding 6 ounces of stock at a time. Waiting in between for rice to absorb the liquid. Do not stop stirring. Par cook to 80% and cool if using for later time. So when stirring, don't sit there and stir like this. Okay, it's not an emulsification. Nicely, gently stirred. Okay. On the risotto, we're looking for the sucre. The sucre part is a toastiness, crunchiness, texture on the bottom of the risotto where it touches the pan. That's what we're looking for. That's what risotto is all about. Okay, guys? And the whole, okay? That's for risotto. And black beans, easy recipe. You got dry black beans, you got water and salt, okay? You're gonna drain the water, make sure there's no debris in the beans. Put the beans and the water together, bring it to a boiling point until they're soft, and they're done. You can do whatever you want with it. You can add some cumin, some salt, some chili powder, whatever, to make your own kind of black bean soup, or you can make a black bean salad afterwards, okay? As long as you know how to cook black beans, okay? 3 easy recipes. 1, you gotta baby it, okay? You gotta baby that risotto. It's gotta have that sucre part, okay? That's the menu for Thursday. Easy does it, right? Your rice pilaf is on the practical, guys, okay? Rice pilaf is on the practical, okay? Any questions about Thursday?
No, chef.
Okay. The recipes are there, guys, okay? All right, Chevy, what do you got, 2 minutes?
I'd say 10 minutes too, just because it's a lot of talking and a lot of people need to kind of go over step by step of all the stuff that they learned this morning, because it's quite a bit, and kind of follow through. Remember, we've already done Monday is a day that we're going to be making a lot of different things with potatoes, right? We've got potatoes taken care of, we've got pasta taken care of, we've got rice taken care of. And the next day on Friday will be fabrication of chicken. So it's really an awful lot of information, different ways of interpreting it, different ways of doing it. And I think we just need a 10-minute break and then we'll come back. Do you all agree? All agree?
Yes, chef.
So kind of mellow out and take it in And a lot. Remember, this is week 3 already. Can you imagine what you've already learned in the first week of really of foundation? And so we're going to be touching base with that and a lot of information. So 10-minute break. What time is it now? It's 4:08. Is it 4:08? Yeah. Let's go. Let's come back at 4:20. That's 12 minutes. Pretty good. Everybody got it? 4:20. We'll be back. Thank you, Chef.
All right.
Thank you, Chef.
We're still here, so you got any questions to ask, go ahead.
Yeah, we're here. We're not going anywhere. Let me brush her hair out.
Oh, she's so crazy. I love my work mom. So, what up, boy? Crazy much.
Are you saying 2:10 or 3:10?
2:10.
So you were 10 minutes late? Okay.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's pick it up. Let's go with the last day, Friday. Okay. Now you know you have Puree Pommes de Terre on the practical. You're making it Tuesday. Now you know you have rice pilaf. You're making it Thursday. 2 items on the practical. And Friday, let's go with Friday. Introduction to cooking techniques. You made 2 last week. You sauteed the glazed carrots. You also deep fried the French fries. Okay. You got flambeing, sauteing, poaching, baking, braising, and boiling. Barbecuing is another kind of cooking technique. You know, grilling, pan frying, shallow frying, stir frying, roasting. So all these are different kind of cooking techniques. And we're going to make, like your menu Friday, one of the items it has 2 different kind of cooking techniques, okay? So poaching is a type of moist heat cooking technique that involves cooking by submerging food in a liquid, such as water, milk, stock, or wine. Okay, you can poach something in milk, you can poach it in wine or stock or water, like Eggs Benedict in water mixed with vinegar. Okay, poaching is differentiated from the other moist heat cooking methods, such as simmering and boiling. Okay, poaching is very, very low. Okay, not too high. It's barely, the water barely moves. Okay. In boiling, that uses relatively low temperatures, about 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature ranges makes it particularly suitable for delicate food such as eggs, poultry, fish, and fruit, which might easily fall apart and or dry out using other cooking methods. Poaching is something considered as a healthy method of cooking because it does not use fat to cook or flavor food. Roasting. With roasting, direct heat is applied to the food. The heat seals the outside part of the food, and the juice inside of the food cooks to the food. Roasting is mainly used when cooking fleshly food like fish, meat, or chicken. When the heat is applied to the outer covering of the food, it seals it up thereby trapping all the juices inside the food. The action of direct heating heats up the juices inside the food, which then cooks the food. Again, there's very little nutrient loss in the flavor, and it's not spoiled. Food frequently rotated over the spit, so there are even heating applied to all parts of the food. This is so that the heat is applied evenly to the food and makes it cook properly. Okay, sautéing. We did that kind of like last week on your glazed carrots. The word sauté, pronounced sauté, refers to the form dry heat cooking, which uses a very hot pan and a small amount of fat to cook the food very quickly. Like other dry heating methods, sautéing browns the food surfaces as it cooks and develops complex flavors and aromas. When sautéing, it's important to get the pan very hot, then add the fat or butter oil, and let it get hot as well before adding the food to the pan. You're going to sauté your French cut breast of chicken on Friday. Okay, this hot fat helps coat the food so the surface will brown evenly. Another key is to avoid overloading or overcrowding the pan. In order to achieve the desired browning of the food, the pan needs to stay hot throughout the cooking process. Too much food in the pan dissipates the heat, causing the food to steam or boil rather than sauté. It'll be almost like poaching it. Okay. Finally, when you sauté, you want to keep the food moving. The word sauté means to jump in French. Tossing or flipping it in the pan ensures that it cooks evenly. Also helps to keep the pan hot. The reason it's important to keep the food moving around is that when a hot thing meets the cooler thing, their temperatures eventually meet in the middle. All the cooling grows warmer while the hot thing cools down. Okay. To illustrate, imagine a pan with green beans cooking in it. The beans at the bottom of the pan, closest to the heat source, are nice and hot, while the ones on the top are barely exposed to the air. They're exposed to the air, so they're a lot cooler. So you need to flip them, gather motion, okay? And the longer they sit like this, the greater the disparity in temperature becomes. So far, good. However, you're eventually going to want to cook the beans on top too. And once you flip them, then the ones on the top come in contact with the pan surface. Those are cooler, okay? They actually lower temperature of the pan, so you need to flip them quite constantly. This leads to the same problem mentioned earlier, where the food ends up steaming rather than sautéing. That's why when we try keeping everything moving more or less constantly. This facilitates, to facilitate this, some sauté pans have a slotted sides, just like the one I used last week for to show you guys the glazed carrots. Okay, it's a slanted sides. It is worth noting that this flipping and tossing thingy is only really practiced when smaller pieces of food, especially vegetables. So for steak, larger cuts, poultry, fish, fillets, and so on, we're more likely to employ a technique known as pan fry rather than sautéing. Even if the dish is actually called sautéing, fillet, or salt, whatever, for demonstration, there's a video how to sauté on this link. I can't open it, darn it. Nope, can't open it, sorry. Okay. So what is pan frying? It's a lot like sautéing, but a few key differences. Besides the fact there is no tossing, the pan frying uses slightly more fat and at slightly lower temperatures than sautéing. This makes it a good method for cooking large pieces of meat that will not have time to cook thoroughly because of the sautéing. The food isn't in pan or very long. The reason for larger piece of meat after you use or finish in the oven after the surface has been cooked is to the desired degree. Your chicken, you're going to French cut it, leaving the skin of the chicken. You're going to sear the chicken skin side down in sauté pan. You're going to flip it over, season it with salt, and stick that pan in the oven. Okay, to finish cooking. Because the chicken is thick in one part by the wing and it's thin on the other part. So by putting it in the oven, it's going to finish cooking everything at the same time evenly. You cannot have the chicken wing part being raw or undercooked and the other one, being burnt. Okay. Polaire, pot roasting, or butter seed braising. Cookery method is a cross between roasting and braising. Polaire is cooking things in fat or butter, almost like confit, but it's not confit. Okay. It does not use any moisture. The item, whole bird or joint, is smeared with butter and placed on the pot with a lid on it. Sediment form is used for the juice. The method of cooking, usually a covered pot, when the foods are cooked on their own juices, also refers as butter roasting. Okay. Frying. We know about frying, right? We kind of did last week with the French fries. Okay. Remember, when you're deep frying or frying, the oil needs to be a 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 350 degrees. Okay. Shallow frying. The food is cooked in the frying pan with a little amount of oil or fat. The oil is fat is heated to the correct amount, and the food is put into the heat oil. The food is then turned over a few minutes, or it's stirred around a couple of times before it is cooked and dished out. If patties, potato chips, or cooked coated with foods are fried, it's best to put a piece of brown paper and a paper napkin inside of the tray to soak up all the oil from the before serving it. So when you saute, be frying it, just like your French fries, get them off, put them in the paper towel so drain all the fat. Okay. And of course, deep frying has to be completely submerged in oil that is sitting about 350 degrees. Okay. Grilling, two methods of grilling that are used these days. The type of grilling is one of the commonly used by people in the village when food is cooked over hot charcoal or an open fire. The food is placed on top of the burning charcoal. Sometimes people improvise by using wire mesh and place it over an open fire to grill fresh fish or veggies. The other method is using the grills that are built-in stoves. And this method, a griller, which has a tray, is heated up, and the food is placed on the grill to cook. The heat can be gas generated, electric generated, depending on the type of stove you use. The food itself is again left to cook on the grill with the doors of the grill open. People can afford to buy a stove. Okay, maybe use one of the little Weber grills to grill your food. Okay, they're not smoking it, but you're going to grill it. Okay, and the flavor of the food is not lost. Much of the nutrients, but it's not lost either. Food is frequently turned over to prevent it from burning and to ensure the equal heating and the cooking time is applied to both sides. So when grilling, you have your grill, okay? And the grill, it takes time to master it because the grill is put in, it has a different heating spots in the grill. Maybe the middle is hotter, maybe the back is hotter too. When you find the part that the grill is hotter, you usually see a white part around the grill when it's nice and hot. So you're going to turn the grill on, let it get nice and hot, turn the heat to medium, okay? You're going to brush that grill with a grill brush, or even one of those little toothbrushes looking brushes, right? To remove any particles of the grill, okay? Because you don't want any particles that adhere to your piece of meat or fish or chicken. Then the next step is what we call in the industry mopping the grill. You grill the grill, right? But you're not using it yet because you're going to grab a towel, wet it, and drink a little bit and swirl it, just like you were back in high school in PE, right? Somebody grabbed the towel and entering your butt, right? That hurt like a son of a, right? You're gonna do the same motion. Grab the towel, swirl it, but while it's wet, and you're gonna slap that grill between the grates. You're gonna say bad grill, and keep on slapping it, right? Get a bad grill. What is happening? That wet towel is going between the grates of the grill and is moving the charred dust that is forming in the grill. So when you look at your towel, it's going to have all the charred dust particles in the towel. You don't want those particles in your food because first of all, it's going to have a different flavor, and when you bite into it, it's going to taste green like sand. Okay, we call that technique mopping the grill. So if you ever work at a place that has a grill and has a lot of steaks and seafood coming up, you want to maintain that grill. If you don't maintain it, it's not going to get hot enough, and then it's not going to leave enough heat. So you got to remove all the debris by brushing it, maybe using a long spatula to remove it, and then mop that grill. Bad grill, right? Slap it, okay? Braising, from the French word braisier, okay? It's a combination of the cooking method that uses both moist and dry heats. Typically, the food is first seared on the high temperature, then finishing covering the pot with a lower temperature while sitting in some variable amount of liquid, which may also add flavor. Just like you saw the serve-safe beef bourguignon guy with the dry, greasy hair, he was braising his beef bourguignon, okay? Other cookery methods, we have baking, okay? Your rice pilaf is gonna bake in the oven on this day, okay? It's cooked under using convection oven. The food is put into an enclosed area where the heat is supplied. Steaming. To steam the food, water is added to the pot, then a stand is placed on inside the pot, like a wok, right? Wok. You got the bamboo steamer, put it inside the wok. The wok doesn't go all the way down because the wok the steamer doesn't go all the way down the wok because the wok is kind of like, has a lot of small surface in the middle. So you put your bamboo steamer on top, put your product, and then put the lid on it, and the steaming water will cook your product, okay? Be careful because steam burns hurt more than a regular burn, okay? Moist cooking methods, liquid is used as a medium to cook food. Such mediums could be water, coconut cream, or oil. These liquids are added to the food before heat is applied to it, or sometimes the heat is applied to the liquid before the food is added to the cooking utensils and be cooked, okay? Boiling. We are going to boil your potatoes for the mashed potatoes and you Duchesse potatoes. That is when the product is completely submerged in the water as it's boiling. Boiling is about 190 degrees, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? Stewing. The process of stewing method is food is cooking and using a lot of liquid. Different kinds of veggies are chopped, diced or cubed, and added to the pot. Sometimes piece of selected meat, fish or chicken is also chopped and added to the stew. Liquid is slightly thickened and stewed food served in that manner, okay? Like chicken butt pie, that can be considered stewing. Yankee pot roast, stewing, okay? Barbecuing. Barbecuing is another method, right? You use smoke to flavor the meats, and it's not in direct heat contact with heat. Barbecue temperature sits about 220 degrees, between 180 and 220 degrees. Needs to be hot, okay? Basting, method of cooking is usually associated with roasting. The juice or liquid that comes out of the meat being cooked is spooned over the roast frequently while it's being roasted, just like your turkey for Thanksgiving. You're going to baste that sucker, right? It's all about that baste. It's all about that baste, right? Okay? Not about that baste, okay? What else? Let's talk about chicken fabrication. Give you guys a demo last week, how to break down the chicken, okay? And we are going to fabricate another chicken on Friday. We're going to go with a shopping list because it calls for 2 birds. We're only going to use 1 bird, okay? So chicken fabrication, they have the neck, the back, the wings, the breast, leg, and thigh meats. So out of 1 chicken, you can have 14 pieces of cuts. You got the wing tip, the wing joint, the second wing joint, the breast, the drumstick. For the drumstick, you got the thigh and the ham, or the thigh and the drumstick. You got the tenderloin, which we saw where it came from, right underneath the breast. You got the breast, right? And you got the giblets, okay? So I'm going to give you another demo how to French cut that chicken on Friday. Friday, okay? I'm going to give a demo on live on the kitchen class, and hopefully you guys will hold that camera. And so you guys are online will see me French cut on that bird, okay? So don't get into it until I show you guys a demo, okay? So chicken cuts can be identified by using the terms whole chicken or wag, okay? A whole bird without giblets, with all the parts, including the breast, thighs, drumstick, wings, back, and abdominal fat. In the industry, you will find that terminology used quite a bit, a chicken wag. Quarter wag, 4-piece, 4 pieces, 2 breast quarters, half a breast with back and wing attached, 2 leg quarters, drumstick, thigh, and back, all attached, and the tail and abdominal fat may not be present on this day. 8-piece. 8-piece is a 2 split breast with back and rib options, 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs with the back portions and 2 wings. Tenderloin. A tenderloin is a whole muscle product that is hand pulled, separating the inner pectoral muscle from the breast and the sternum. Thigh, just like you saw me separate on Friday, last week, how to separate the thigh and the drumstick, okay? Again, you got the wings, the section, the breast, tenders, and the legs, okay? Blanching your veggies. You're gonna make blanched asparagus on Friday. You're gonna have boiling water with salt. Okay, if you forget to add the salt to your boiling water, your asparagus are gonna turn olive green. Salt in the boiling water has a reverse osmosis effect that you're not flavoring the asparagus. What salt does, 2 things. It keeps it helps the vegetable keeps the original green bright color, and 2, it seals the flavor inside the veggie. It doesn't bleed out on the water. Okay, so that's why you salt the water before you blanch your asparagus or any other green veggies like green beans. Okay, so bring a large pan of salted water to boil. Carefully lower the asparagus to the boiling water. Leave to cook for about 2 to 4 minutes, depending on the thickness and stems. Using long tongs, remove the asparagus and plunge it into ice water. You're going to shock it, because if you don't shock it, it's going to continue cooking. Okay, we call that carryover cooking. Drain the asparagus on the kitchen paper, and you can probably saute them lightly with a little bit of butter, oil, a little bit of salt. Okay. And here, let me see if I can pop this link right here. Okay, right, really. So how to blanch asparagus? Let's check it out real quick. Okay. Let's see what this has.
Chef, if you can get it to pull up, will you make sure the subtitles are on for me, please?
Yes, Mrs. Rebecca, I do apologize for that. I'm like, fudge, forgot about it, but I won this time, okay?
Okay, thank you, Chef. No worries.
I hope I can on this one. Let me see if there's a little thing. Really? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Really? Go from the beginning. I don't think it's narrated. I think it's just the visual aspect.
Place a large pot of water on high heat.
It doesn't have the closed caption, Ms. Rebecca. Huh. It doesn't have it.
That's okay, Chef. If it shows their lips, I'll try to read them.
I'll put the link on the chat, okay? Here we go.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
All right, let's take a look how to blanch asparagus, all right, guys?
Bring to the boil and add salt. This will help maintain color and slightly season the vegetable. Drop the vegetable, in this case asparagus, into the boiling water. Leave to cook for 1 minute for an al dente finish, or 4 minutes for a soft finish. Remove the vegetable with tongs and plunge into ice water for at least 5 minutes. This will stop the cooking process and preserve the color. Drain the asparagus on kitchen paper.
That's it, easy and simple. Blanch asparagus, okay? It's not that hard. You're gonna be doing that in your practical. You're gonna be blanching some green beans, okay? So green beans on the practical, and it's about the same as the blanch asparagus, same procedure, okay? So let's take a look at your menu. Ooh, we went fast today. Your menu for Friday. Menu for Friday. You're gonna fabricate the chicken. Let me see if I can find the video real quick as I'm going over these items, okay? Okay. Where you go? So you're going to fabricate a chicken on Friday. You're going to make French cut breast of chicken, all right? It says saute French cut breast of chicken. French cut means leaving the little wing attached to it, okay? Little wing. The meat is at the base of the armpit, but the bone is exposed. It's nice and clean, just like you saw in the picture here on the right, left-hand side. That is a French cut breast of chicken, okay, guys? So you're going to French cut breast of chicken. You're going to fabricate it. Enough skin on the outside of the breast, okay? Leave the tenderloin attached. Season that skin. Nice saute pan, nice and hot with oil or butter. You're going to put the skin side down. It just says just enough to get it nice and golden brown. Flip it on the other side. Put it in the oven to finish cooking to 165, okay? Blanch asparagus, you saw the video. Easy does it. And rice pilaf. which you have we're going to practice making the rice pilaf on Thursday, the day beforehand. Okay. So rice pilaf on that day. Okay. So let's go over the recipes real quick. Make sure we have the ingredients. You should have the ingredients because it's the same as the other ones. You got the recipe. The ingredients call for. Let me see if I can pop it in. Okay. Where are you? Here we go. Okay. Let's take a look at the recipes real quick. Okay. Let me go back and let's go take a look at day 15. Okay. Week 3, day 15. Okay. Fabricate chicken. There's no link because I'm going to show you how to fabricate it. There's no link on saute chicken breast. I'm going to show you how to saute it. And blanch asparagus. You saw the video how to blanch asparagus. Rice pilaf. Let's take a look at the rice pilaf. Okay. Again, same recipe. You got butter, onions, carrots, celery, long grain rice. You already made it the day beforehand, so you need to know how to make rice pilaf, right? So that the recipe is there for the rice pilaf. It's not for the asparagus, not for the chicken. I'm going to show you guys that. You also saw the demo on the on how to blanch asparagus. Now let's take a look at the shopping list, okay, and try to compare the ingredients on the recipes. Make sure that it's there, so you're not coming to production and you're missing 1 or 2 items in your production. Okay, so shopping list, you have chicken stock, which you already have. If you need some more, you can buy the top value chicken broth in a can. It calls for 2 birds. You only need 1 chicken. Only 1 chicken, okay? Don't go buying 2, you only need 1. Because you're only going to use half of the chicken, okay? Dairy products, butter, heavy cream, eggs, and Parmesan. Ms. Rebecca, you are going to use margarine or oil instead of butter, okay? Margarine for your mashed potatoes, okay? And oil for your cooking your items. Heavy cream, you may use soy milk or almond milk instead of heavy cream. Eggs and Parmesan. Parmesan is for risotto. You can leave it out, Ms. Rebecca. You don't have to use it, okay, if you can find it. Produce, leeks, potatoes. Remember, you got 4 potatoes on Tuesday. Your puree, vichyssoise, puree, duchesse, and your potato salad. 4 potatoes, okay. Chives, if you can find chives, it's great. If not, don't worry about it. Use green onions. You're not going to need the new potatoes unless you want to make your potato salad with red skin potatoes. Then go ahead and buy it. Otherwise, like I said, 1 potato for each recipe. Okay. Radish, I'm not going to worry about radish. You don't have to buy it. If I buy radish, it's going to go bad in my fridge. I'm not going to use it. Okay. Parsley is for garnish. If you can find it, awesome. If you can't, that's fine. Those of you guys who are in a hybrid, you do have parsley on your box. Onions, you will definitely need onions for your potato salad, your vichyssoise, and your rice pilaf plus your risotto. Garlic, you definitely need it as well too. You need mushrooms. Button mushrooms are fine. You can, if you have a little bit of extra on your stipend, you can buy cremini, which are baby portobello mushrooms. Okay, a little bit better for risotto. Basil and oregano. That is your shopping list for this week. Notice one of the recipes had vinegar on the potato salad, right? We're not using vinegar, okay? So your shopping list, it's about the same as your ingredients in your recipes, okay? So that is your shopping list for this week, okay? Again, if only 1 chicken, the new potatoes, if you can find them, that's fine. Utilize Russet, Idaho, but the same, Burbank, they're all the same thing, okay? So that is your shopping list for Friday, okay, for this week, and that is your menu for Friday, okay?
Chef?
Yes.
You know how I talked to you guys about taking Friday off?
Yes.
So I realize it's going to be a little more complicated because of the ingredients. So when I go to school on Thursday, would I be able to take home the ingredients for Friday? And because you know how on Friday for the hybrid, you gave us the ingredients we're going to need for Tuesday and Wednesday?
Correct.
Would I be able to pick all 3 of those days? So Friday, Tuesday and Wednesday, all those ingredients up on Thursday when I come to class?
You should have your ingredients for Friday already in the speed rack. The ones for Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to see they already have them built up. If not, I'm going to ask if they can have them built up so you can pick them up on that day that you leave on Thursday. If not, you might have to come back on Monday to pick up your ingredients for Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay.
So I would be able to come back on Monday to pick them up?
Yes, if they're not built for you on Friday. Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So I'm trying to find a cool video how to French cut it, because it's really easy, guys. Really, really easy. Okay. Then I'll show you.
Chef,
Yes.
my fresh basil y'all gave me on Friday wasn't looking really good. I tossed it out. The leaves were turning a really bad brown and black. If I can't find fresh basil at the store, can I just use dried?
No, I would leave it out.
Okay.
Okay. I will leave it out. So that is your menu for Friday. Blanched asparagus, lightly sauteed, sauteed chicken breast, skin side down. I will give you a demo how to French cut the breast of chicken. Rice pilaf, okay? And you may use your velouté sauce you made on last week to, use a sauce for your chicken. But that's on Friday. So this whole entire dish, it's under practical, okay? Only difference is you got green beans instead of asparagus in your practical. That's it. So this is your first step at making this dish this week, again, because it's on the practical. So as we go, you'll see the menus start to get increased in as far as labor-wise, and also the intensity of the recipes. Now you have chicken, rice, asparagus, 3 recipes in one, okay? You have 4 on Tuesday, vichyssoise, potato salad, duchesse, and puree potatoes. Okay, you got 3 on Thursday, risotto, rice pilaf, and black beans, okay? So this is where it's gonna start picking up a little bit more fast pace. So you're done with knife cuts. You know what small dice, brunoise, julienne, all those mean. From now on, just go back and think about what you learned and apply those techniques because rice pilaf, it calls for a small dice. Well, I think the recipe calls for brunoise, but I can go small dice on the rice pilaf, okay? So if you're having issues with not know what small dice or brunoise, that train has left the station. We're now moving fast pace, okay? And it's going to get faster when you go down to the first, the other kitchen blocks, okay? So you already acquired that knowledge. Now's the time to put it into practice, okay? Because again, this dish is on the practical, okay? That's for Friday. Any questions on each day's recipes, menus, shopping list, and ingredients?
No, chef.
This is
I
your
don't
time.
know.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw in chat, but Clarissa had said that her cream clotted on her way home from.
I was gonna ask, I'm not planning on eating that vichyssoise, so can I still use it to cook with and just throw it out?
Yeah, if it's clotted, just shake it. That's it.
Okay.
It happens because again, heavy cream has a lot of fat in it, so it'll clot the top. No big deal. Just shake it, mix it in with a fork, and it's done. Okay.
Okay.
So again, any more questions about this week's menus, production, and recipes? Really simple, really easy, but they're building up. They are building up. Okay. Now you saw your chicken stock. You're going to use it for this week. Now you saw your velouté. You may use it for this Friday. If you guys are on the hybrid, you can make more velouté on Friday to match with your chicken if we have time. If not, don't worry about it. Okay. So this is your menu for Friday. That's your menus for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesday, vichyssoise, puree de pommes de terre, pommes de terre duchesse, potato salad. Okay. Wednesday, you got what's Wednesday? You got soft polenta, crispy polenta, soak the black beans, What else on Wednesday?
Pasta, in it.
Pasta.
Yeah, pasta dough with the tomato sauce.
Yeah.
And you gave him the recipe for both, two different pastas. Remember,
Yeah.
one for fettuccine
Uh-huh.
and for lasagna, and then the other one for all the other stuff.
Now, in certain instances, we like to sometimes make the pasta ahead of a day ahead because it has to rest 30 minutes, and it's going to take you about 30 minutes to knead that pasta. Okay, but that day we're going to make it on that day of. Okay, you're going to make it the day of. As you go in the future, you're probably going to be asked to make the pasta dough a day beforehand before you use it, because you have so many other recipes coming at you. You don't have no time to make that pasta dough. That pasta dough takes about 20 minutes to knead it, 20 minutes to rest, and it takes another about 20, 30 minutes to cut and blanch. You look at about.
What if you already know how to make pasta?
If you know how to make pasta, then awesome.
Should we go ahead and do it the day before?
I would do it the day beforehand.
Okay.
Okay. If you know how to make pasta, you can make it the day beforehand. Okay. Because it's going to take at least about an hour to get it from to get the pasta dough rolling and to have it cut. Okay. If you don't know how to make pasta, follow with me on Wednesday to make pasta. But if you already have made it in the past, go ahead and make it the day beforehand. It's not going to hurt. It's going to help you better. Okay. Thursday, rice pilaf is on the practical. Risotto, mushrooms are cut in quarters, okay? So rinse them, leave the stems on, and cut them in quarters, okay? I'm going to pop a video on risotto here real quick. We still got a little bit of time, okay? Where are you? Risotto.
Chef, I have an appointment at 5:30, so I may need to leave at 5:15.
That's fine. We're almost done. It's going to be one of those another early-ish days.
Okay.
Risotto, okay? It says bake, but we're not going to bake the risotto, okay, guys? So here's a link on the chat. This one does have the closed caption, Ms. Reka, so I'm going to pop it in, okay? There we go, okay?
That's right, I'm showing you an alternative version for a recipe I've never even shown you the regular version for. Yes, that is a little strange, but I will explain that on the blog post. The good news, however, is that once you try this method, it is so easy and the rice comes out so perfect, you may not even care anymore about the classical method. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start by cutting up a few cups of mushrooms. I'm gonna dice mine. You can cut these any way you want. And I'm using the brown cremini mushrooms. The white button mushrooms will work exactly the same. They're the same mushroom, basically. One's grown in the light, one's grown in the dark. Once those are cut, we're going to throw them in a large skillet that's placed over medium-high heat with a bunch of melted butter in there, and we're going to saute those until brown. And I should mention at this point, for this to work exactly as shown, you're going to need a 12 or 13-inch saute pan. That's a very standard size. Needs to be oven-proof, of course. And you know the deal with mushrooms. We're going to add a pinch of salt. And then, as we like to say, first we make them wet, then we make them dry, then we make them wet again. So we're going to use that same method here. The salt's going to drown out the liquid. They're going to kind of boil in their own juices. But then when that evaporates, they're going to start frying in that butter. The only thing that evaporates out of a sauteing pan of food is water vapor. Fat does not evaporate. So whatever butter or oil you start with is going to remain in the pan. I'm also going to season that up a little bit with some black pepper and a little shake of cayenne. And we're going to keep sauteing those until they're nicely browned, something like that, which at that point, we're going to add a half an onion that I've finely diced. We can turn the heat down to medium at that point, and we're just going to sweat those onions with those mushrooms for another few minutes until the onions turn translucent and soften a little bit. And when that happens, we're going to go ahead and dump in our rice. Speaking of which, here it is. I'm using carnaroli, which is a famous variety of rice for risotto. It's actually called the king of rices. And it's very similar to arborio, which is the most popular rice for risotto, which should work for this, by the way, although I've never tested it because I only use carnaroli for my risotto. And you should be able to find that at the same fancy stores that sell the arborio rice. And if not, you can certainly find it online quite easily. But anyway, that's something else you can read a little more about on Food Wishes. So we're going to take a cup of that. We're going to dump it in our saute pan. All right, we're still on medium heat. And we're going to stir that for about a minute until every single grain of rice is coated with some of that fat. We're also going to want to stir some salt in at this point. And when you're positive every single grain is coated, we can start adding our liquids. So I'm going to pour in 1 cup of chicken broth, which can cause your eyeballs to steam up. So be careful. All right, you plant munchers can definitely use vegetable stock if you want. Totally will work. We're going to raise the heat up to medium-high, and we're simply going to cook stirring until that liquid is absorbed. So basically the beginning and the ending of this recipe are the same as traditional risotto, but what's so different is the middle 15 minutes. We're going to do that in the oven in an attempt to eliminate as many variables as possible. So keep stirring, keep cooking, and when all the liquid has been absorbed and you can't see any at the bottom of the pan, we're going to go ahead and dump in a second cup of broth. And with this second cup of stock, all we're going to do is wait for it to come back to a simmer, and we're going to pop it in the oven. By the way, at this point, make sure your oven is already preheated to 400 degrees. Very important, make sure it's hot before you start this. So we're going to go ahead and stir that cup in. By the way, make sure there's no grain stuck to the sides, otherwise those won't cook. And as soon as you see that bubbling, as soon as it just starts to simmer, you're going to pop it in the oven for exactly 15 minutes at 400 degrees. And after 15 minutes, it should look like this. And by the way, quick tip, make sure you always put a towel over the handle of the pan that just came out of the oven so everyone knows it's hot, right? Because we're going to work with this on the stovetop. That would be really easy to grab. So be careful. And at this point, we're going to test it with a fork. And you can see those grains are already looking amazing. And they're not going to be cooked all the way through. They're going to probably be 85 to 90% cooked, which is perfect because the last step is finishing this with some more cream and stock. I'm also tasting for salt here, which is why you see me add a pinch. So at that point, I'm going to measure out 1/2 cup of heavy cream plus another 1/2 cup of chicken broth. We're going to go ahead and dump that into our pan. We're going to turn the heat on to medium, and we're going to finish this just like a regular risotto. So we're going to cook on medium, stirring constantly until the rice reaches your ideal level of doneness. And that's only going to take you a few minutes. And just like regular...
The phrase he was saying earlier, I've never heard of it
The
before.
starch from the outside of the grain attaches itself to the liquid in the pan and creates that signature, creamy, luscious sauce. And of course, at this point, you're going to have to step up and be the boss of your risotto. You're going to have to decide how much longer to cook this. You're also going to decide how saucy or soupy you want. I do not like my risotto too runny, but some people do. And you could easily add another 1/2 cup of liquid here. But I have a very specific texture I'm going for, and I'll show you at the end when I plate it. So for me, it was at this point when I said that risotto is done. It should be cooked through where there's no raw starch in the grain, yet it should stay firm and fairly toothsome. Kind of the same idea as al dente pasta. And when that happens, you're done almost. So we're going to turn off the heat. I'm going to finish it with a little extra drizzle of cream. I'm going to toss in a nice handful of Parmigiano Reggiano and some fresh chives. And once that's stirred in, and you've given it a final taste for seasoning, it's time to plate up immediately. In fact, why am I still stirring? Come on, plate up. So I'm going to spoon that onto some nice warm plates. And then I'm going to show you how you can tell if you have a nice risotto consistency. Once you pile it on the plates, if you give the plate a shake, it will settle down and flatten out. If you shake the plate and it doesn't settle down like that, it may have been a little too dry. And of course, conversely, if it flattens out as soon as you spoon it on, it may have been a little too loose. But again, that's up to you. But whether you like yours a little tighter or a little looser, what will be true using this method is that every single one of those grains of rice will be perfectly cooked. They will all be separate but equally delicious. And yes, that was a reference to the famous court case, Brown Rice versus Board of Education. And the most fun part about this recipe is inviting over your most hardcore Italian food snob friend and making this for them. You know the one, drives a Fiat, lots of product in the hair, and they're going to want to hate it, but they won't be able to because it's so unhateable. Great texture, great taste. There's nothing not to like. So I really hope you give this a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amount.
Sorry, he's got a lot of corny jokes.
That was so quick.
Yes, it is quick. The only thing you're not going to do is going to bake it in the oven, because if you bake it, you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so you're going to follow the same technique, okay, and do it on the stovetop slowly. Take your time with it, okay. That's risotto for you on Thursday. Okay. Any questions?
What is the estimated time you'll put up the recorded lecture?
What do you mean, like the time?
Onto the portal? Like, what time do you think you'll be able to put it on the portal?
It takes about maybe an hour to convert it to my desktop, and it takes another an hour to upload it to the YouTube video. And from that, it's like just a matter of minutes before I can put it in the portal.
Okay, thank you.
I have the one from this morning. I'm gonna start loading it once we're done with this class, and hopefully this one will be done by 10 o'clock-ish or so.
Okay, I just want to double check all my notes.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and upload as soon as I can. I'll load the slides onto the portal as well too, so you have those as a reference.
Thank you, Chef.
Okay. Any questions about this week coming up? Okay.
So you said to in order to make up the day that I'm missing on Friday, I would like take notes on the slides and on the video and stuff.
Yeah, take it from the video.
Okay, and then I would cook my stuff and send you the pictures.
Correct.
When would that be due?
Prefer to have it over the weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday. Right now, I'm a little bit behind updating some of the grades because of the first week. Some people then submit their pictures with the glass scared, so I'm gonna go scan the emails, pull them up, and upgrade them. The faster you can submit your pictures, the faster your grade will be updated. Okay.
Well, she can give it to you by Monday because she's got a long weekend that she asked for, so she can do it by Monday, can she, Sheffy?
Yeah.
Oh, Friday stuff. You can do it by Monday.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Fair. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could it be after class on Monday, or do you want it before class on Monday?
Either way, or because I don't do the grades until 8:30 on Monday.
Okay.
So you got about until that time so I can start plugging in the grades. And again, you don't want to let it go too long because the longer it goes, it might get lost.
I'll get behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we do have, this class is X amount of students, and the other one is X amount of students, so it takes time to go through all the emails and pictures and start grading you guys accordingly. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Any other questions? I told you it's going to be overloaded, didn't I?
Okay.
A lot of things to go over. You're talking about potatoes. You're talking about pasta. You're talking about rice. You're talking about fabrication. You're talking about different things that you can make to enhance vegetables, how to really get them ready for service, shocking them. And so many different things that we have to kind of consider and look into of what we're going to be doing. A lot. Week 3, halfway through our foundation class. Can you believe by the end of the week? It's unbelievable. Just think what you're going to be learning in the next 3 weeks to round it all off.
This will be crazy.
So
It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. It looked like we just started. So a great, correct.
You started with knife cuts, and you're going to end up with making 2 separate dishes, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to go by fast, guys. So hang in there. Ask questions. I'll try to do my best to put all this stuff on the portal. You guys can go back and read it, look at it, do ask questions throughout, and I'm going to give you as much demos as I can, either here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and also Thursday and Friday when we go on campus, okay? My hybrid students, when we go on campus on Thursday and Friday, okay? You guys know who you guys are. We're going to wait until Chef Craig vacates the premises, and we're going to let you guys in. If it's not clean, we'll take care of it. We'll clean it, okay? At the end, remember, 4 o'clock is when you see the clock hit 4 o'clock, that's when you start assembling your plates, especially Friday, okay? Friday, you got rice pilaf, lunch asparagus, and French caboose chicken. You got from 2, 3, you got 2.5 hours, okay, to produce that dish. 4 o'clock is your cue, clear your tables. Hopefully by that, you'll have your plated dishes ahead of the game, already nice and warm and hot, ready to set to go, because hot food is hot plate. Cold food, cold plate. So during the next few days, get into the practice of when you walk in, your production sheet, you know exactly how it's going to look like. Grab your plates from the cage, okay? I'll bring them to the kitchen so you guys can have them. Grab them and put them in one of those bottom ovens that have the pilot on to keep it nice and hot. Don't stick them into the convention ovens because you're going to get searing hot, okay? Just keep them nice and warm. So by 4 o'clock is your cue. Clear your tables, organize, and start gathering your plates and meat supplies to start plating out. Your food should be done on the tables no later than 4:30, okay? No later than 4:30. And as you're cooking, please make sure you keep your stations clean and cluttered. We were fortunate enough to have a dishwasher this past week. We do have one this week. push them, get them cleaned up, because sometimes it has happened in the past. Oh, I got an emergency call, I gotta go. Now you're stuck behind cleaning your own dirty dishes and pots, the sink, and now you got to clean the floors as well to your kitchen. So get into the habit. As soon as you dirty something, get it off the site, push it. Okay. Also, too, it keeps the flow of the dish, pots and pans going. So, like you saw on Friday, he's not stuck with the pile of dishes at the end. Keep it flowing, okay? Keep it flowing. And remember, we got to clean, leave the kitchen cleaner or as clean as we found it. And if there's something happens during the process, make sure you take care of it. Like, you know, my fault that grease was on the floor. But don't just point at it and walk around it and step on it. Make sure you take care of it right off the bat, because that is a safety hazard. You can slip and fall and hurt your back really quick. Doesn't matter who did it. Let's make sure that we done it. And if you did it, you know, like I did, I went back and cleaned it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Got some towels, got on the floor, cleaned the grease, right? And took care of it, right? So don't wait until somebody else comes and take care of it. Take care of it as soon as possible. And it's a major incident that requires 2 hands on board. Pitch in, because we don't want to have an injury. Okay, so make sure we take care of it, clean as you go, tables organized. Anything happens, take care of it right away. Don't wait. Okay. But 4 o'clock, that's a cue. Clean tables. Start assembling. 4:30, boom. Chef, ready. Then I go to your table, look at your plate, touch your plate, and give you critique on the dot. Okay.
Yes, chef.
Questions?
I did send y'all a message in chat, but if y'all need to wait until later, that's fine.
Production sheets you did fine last week. Okay. Keep on doing them. Notes on the grade as far as how your production sheets are. We'll try to give you guys as much feedback on them. Again, follow that sample that was emailed you guys a while ago. Menu, plating, ingredients or mise en place, and then the recipes on the right hand side. Get use of that product. If you do that part, you'll be fine. Okay.
And once you do that, guys, once you do a production sheet like that and get used to doing it, you know, we don't have to see it every day, because we'll know if when you get your production sheet, if you don't do it, we'll know that you haven't done it. For the simple reason you're going to be lost running around in the kitchen. Do you all understand what I'm saying? So if you get your production sheet done and you understand and get into the rhythm of working and getting a production sheet done, then it'll be working a lot faster and a lot better. All right? So you really don't, I mean, I don't know, Chef Miguel, if you agree with me, do you think that they have to post a production sheet every day?
Yep. I'll take a look at them. I do.
Every day?
I do every day. Yep.
All right.
So should I just resend it every day, or is just the one that I sent you fine?
If you got the Google Docs, you don't have to resend it. We can take a look at the drive and see, pull the production sheet and take a look at it. As long as you have different tabs, day 15, so far and so on the bottom, then we'll take a look at the production sheets.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, like we're an adult world, guys, and we are all of us self-responsible. Do you all get what I'm saying? That we need to up what we are supposed to do. If you don't do it, or if you don't do something, you're the one that's slacking. You're the one that's going to get hurt in the long run, not understanding it when you go out in the outside world, because majority, 99% of a person that works on the line has a production sheet of what they got to get done and what it's got to be done. And if you don't know it, you're the one that's really in cause to not get it done. So remember, we're not going to be like little children as high schoolers. We're an adult world, and people need to respect you as an adult. And I expect you as an adult, and vice versa. And Chef Miguel does too. This is a world that is totally different. Some people are nice. Some chefs are nice in the adult world, and some are not. And if you are sensitive, you need to get over it. Because I'm going to tell you, if you want to be in this pace, it's a fabulous world. Did you hear me what I just said? It's a fabulous world, but you have to be strong and do it right. Everybody understand that?
It'll come in time. You'll build that thick skin.
And you will. It'll come in time. It's a growing process. But that's what we want to do, is put you on a track of growing and accomplishing and crossing off and dotting the T's and crossing the T's and dotting the I's. It's a beginning. This is perfect time for you to go down the road. and learn every day more. Any questions?
For those of you guys who are on the hybrid, make sure you bring your production sheets. I know Joshua had an incident last week. He didn't have his. He had it on his phone. So there is that the printer, the copier in the back of the K3. If you don't have it with you, but you have it in your mobile app, it prints Bluetooth. Print it and have it ready for you. Don't start production with no production sheet. You also have the copier make several copies. You guys have one copy, make several copies before you go so you can fill it, so you get handwriting, okay? So there's two ways. Print it straight to Bluetooth on the copier, or print copies, blank copies, and fill them in before you're coming in, okay, guys? Because again, it's very important. Don't walk into class not knowing where you're cooking, and don't walk into class empty-handed with no production sheet. That's you know, you're looking for yeah, you don't want to do that, okay? You want to make sure you're ready, okay, guys? And any questions? If not, you're more than welcome to be dismissed. And we'll see you guys same bad time, same bad channel in La Casa de Chef Pabla or Casa de Chef Miguel.
Thank you, chefs.
Hey guys, thank you again. Lolly, thank you. Clarissa, thank you. Rebecca, thank you. Taylor, thank you. Brianna, thank you. Tessa, thank you. Cleo, thank you.